What's up everybody, welcome back to the Gamer's Place, and in today's video, me and JP are going to be bringing you the best games we've played on Steam Deck in 2025. We're going to be having a lot here, it's very long, so be sure to kick back, grab a snack, subscribe if you enjoy, be sure to hit the like button so the algorithm spreads us around, and without any further ado, JP, go ahead and kick us off with the first game.
The Slayer should be guided.
Alright, and we'll kick it off with Doom: The Dark Ages. Now this is a brutal medieval prequel that takes the franchise's signature chaos and drops it straight into a dark fantasy war against hell. It's a single-player first-person shooter built on id Tech's latest engine, and once again, you're stepping into the boots of the Slayer, only this time he's basically a walking siege weapon. The game mixes classic Doom speed with heavier, more grounded combat, and the new tools like the shield saw, mecha dragon, and the towering Atlan mech give you some of the most over-the-top moments that the series has ever delivered. The story fills in the long-awaited lore about the Slayer's origins, while sending you across massive ruined castles, forests, and ancient hellscapes. And even with all the new ideas, they still nail what makes Doom, Doom, that relentless action, tight level design, and some of the most satisfying enemy encounters all year. Ark Raiders. Now this is an extraction-style third-person shooter with a surprisingly rich world and a wonderful community that's made the entire experience feel way better and made it feel alive. Whether you're playing solo or with a squad of up to 3 people, you're scavenging the surface for loot while avoiding deadly machines and dealing with unpredictable encounters with other raiders. Every run feels different thanks to the changing weather, map conditions, enemy types, and the game gives you a ton of freedom to craft gear, mod weapons, and kind of build a playstyle that fits you. Now what really sets it apart is how welcoming it is for a typically hardcore genre. Even if extraction shooters really aren't your thing, the atmosphere, the cooperative vibe, and the constant sense of discovery really make it easy to get sucked in. And with Season 1 being free, there's a lot to dive into without feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you have to kind of pay to win or any of that kind of crap. Playtime varies, of course, but you can definitely sink hundreds of hours into the game no problem. Definitely check it out. Split Fiction. This one is from the team behind It Takes Two, and it follows Mio and Zoe, 2 writers who get pulled into their own stories, and then they have to work together across constantly shifting sci-fi and fantasy worlds. One moment you're taming dragons, and the next you're slashing through neon cities as a cyber ninja. And the game never stops throwing new ideas at you all the way through. It stands out because it does what Hazelight does best. It builds every mechanic, every puzzle, and every set piece around cooperation. The pacing is incredible, the worlds are imaginative, and it's packed with memorable moments that you'll want to talk about afterward. This is the kind of game that reminds people why co-op storytelling is so special. It takes around 14 hours to wrap up on your first playthrough. Definitely a must-play, and it would have been my game of the year, but it wasn't nominated, so what can you do? Neon Inferno. Now, Neon Inferno drops you into a dystopian, gang-ruled New York City, where you play as one of 2 assassins fighting for a ruthless crime syndicate. Now, what sets it apart is the dual-plane combat. Enemies can attack from the foreground and the background, plus the bullet-deflecting bullet time, and there are even vehicle chases. It supports local co-op for 2 players, and the campaign runs at about 3 to 4 hours depending on difficulty. Stylish pixel art, big boss fights, and pure cyberpunk energy earn Neon Inferno the first spot on our list. Alright, and next up is Iron Meat, which is a love letter to classic arcade carnage. It's a non-stop assault of bullets, gore, and mutant biomass called The Meat. Now you'll blast your way through 9 stages packed with brutal enemies and multi-phase bosses. Local co-op lets a second player join the chaos, and the campaign should last about 1 to 3 hours, again depending on how thorough you are in exploring everything. The fast pacing, 30 plus unlockable skins, and hardcore difficulty options definitely make it a standout in the genre and earn it a spot on our list. Alright, and next is Huntdown, which takes you to a neon-drenched future where violent gangs run the city and bounty hunters are the only law left. Now you'll take down crime bosses across gorgeous hand-painted 16-bit stages, backed by an incredible soundtrack and some of the best voice acting in a smaller indie game like this. Now, it stands out with its tight cover mechanics, expressive animations, and that hilarious action/comedy tone. It supports 2-player local co-op, and the main campaign runs at about 5 to 6 hours. Stylish, polished, and endless fun, this is a must play. Blazing Chrome is pure, high-octane 16-bit mayhem and a tribute to Contra-style classics where machines have nearly wiped out humanity. Across 5 stages, you'll blast robots, pilot hoverbikes, and take down massive mechanical bosses. Co-op is built right in, and the campaign is short and sweet at around 2 to 4 hours. The tight controls, relentless pacing, and that arcade feel make it one of the best modern retro-style run-and-gun platformers. Definitely check it out. Alright, and next is Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, which throws you into 1920s Thugtown, a Prohibition-era city full of monsters, zombies, and wild conspiracies. Now, you play as Vinny Cannoli in a story-driven adventure loaded with humor, hand-drawn animation, and non-stop explosions. This one supports up to 4-player local co-op, and the campaign lasts around 3 to 5 hours, but there's a good bit of replay value, and the mix of slapstick action, cinematic flair, and that smooth 2D art earns it a spot on our list. Also, check out Part 2, which is just as good, if not better. Oh, and they added online support in Part 2 as well. Spidersaurs delivers that Saturday morning cartoon energy with mutant spider dinosaurs rampaging across jungles, labs, and volcanoes. Playing as either Adrian or Victoria, you'll unlock new abilities and tear through 6 chaotic stages using absurd weapons, exploding footballs, and electronic bass guns. It supports 2-player couch co-op and takes around 2 to 3 hours to wrap up. The colorful art style, fun personalities, and that way forward charm make it a great pick for any fan of lighthearted run-and-gun action. Alright, and up next is Alien Hominid HD, which is a nostalgic blast from the early Newgrounds era, fast, chaotic, hand-drawn, and unapologetically tough. Now, you play as a tiny alien, mowing down secret agents with blasters, grenades, and even head chomps. What makes it special is the signature behemoth humor, brutal difficulty modes, and loads of bonus minigames that you can participate in. Up to 2 players can team up locally, and the campaign is short but very intense. This is a defining classic in modern indie run-and-gun history, and definitely earns a spot on our list. Mighty Goose is a bombastic, over-the-top shooter starring a galactic bounty-hunting goose on a mission to take down the Void King. Now, it stands out with its vibrant pixel art, screen-filling bosses, modifiable loadouts, and those incredible pilotable war machines. Now, local co-op is available, and the main story runs about 2 to 3 hours. With its incredible soundtrack and creative weapons, Mighty Goose delivers a fun, high-energy spin on the genre that you should definitely add to your library. Alright, and next up is Super Cyborg, which is pure retro brutality, a love letter to NES-era shooters, with tough levels, swarms of bio-monsters, and some of the fiercest boss fights that you'll see in a modern indie title. As an elite cyborg, you'll blast through 7 stages, loaded with different weapon upgrades and old school challenge. It supports local co-op for 2 players, and should take around 4 to 5 hours to wrap up. Now, if you love hardcore run and gun punishment, definitely pick this one up. It's always on sale and very cheap. Alright everyone, and finally, we have Cuphead. Now, this is a modern masterpiece that blends run and gun platforming with some of the most iconic boss battles that were ever made in the genre. You play as Cuphead or Mugman, trying to repay your debt to the devil, and it's all brought to life with hand-drawn 1930s animation and a fully original jazz soundtrack. Local co-op is supported, and the campaign takes around 10 to 12 hours to wrap up. The incredible controls, unforgettable art direction, and wildly creative bosses definitely make it stand out in the genre, and this will go down probably as one of the best games ever made within the genre. If you somehow still have not played, look, I tried to cover as many hidden gems as I could find, but a video like this, you have to have Cuphead, or else you're just doing it wrong, I think. But anyway, definitely add it if you haven't played yet.
no purpose.
Now, up next on this list is Warframe, and Warframe is an absolutely phenomenal game that, in my opinion, is a destiny killer. If you're into that looter-shooter type gameplay where you get to go fight enemies in dungeons and then go and upgrade your loot, get more and more powerful as you go and look cooler as you do it, then this is definitely a game that you're going to enjoy. And the best part of all is that this game is completely free of charge. So if you want to play a game that is really fun, free to play, and has online elements that you can hop in with your friends and be able to go and loot and shoot together, this is one of the best games that you can do that in on your Steam Deck. And not only to mention the fact that this game looks and runs beautifully on the deck, we're talking 60 plus FPS on any setting that you want, really, as this game is very well optimized. So if you want to play a game that has very good optimization, is very fun with friends, and has really cool loot and boss fights in it, be sure to check out Warframe, because I think you'll like it a lot. So up first on this list, we have Godbreakers, and this is a absolutely phenomenal action roguelike online co-op game that allows you and a buddy to go through and fight some amazing enemies in basically a third-person over-the-shoulder version of Hades. Now, this is a game where you beat up enemies and foes, and you end up getting upgrades and gear and equipment, and you can change your playstyles, and you do a bunch of really cool stuff in this game. And on top of that, the boss fights are absolutely sensational. Ones like Merrick, who is a wrestler who does freaking front flips and burns the whole entire arena. It's very challenging but fun, especially if you're playing with a buddy. And this game runs and looks absolutely fantastic on the Steam Deck. This game is so good that I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to play a fun game with their friends in co-op. So definitely check out Godbreakers on your Steam Deck. Now up next is the phenomenal roguelike FPS online co-op game, which is Deadzone Rogue. This game is a intense co-op game that you play with your friends that looks great and runs absolutely silky smooth on the Steam Deck. Both LCD and OLED models have phenomenal graphics on this one, regardless of the screen. And on top of all of that, this is one of the best, most fun games you can play with your friends on the deck. So if you're looking for a phenomenal first-person shooter that is an underrated indie that needs more love, and on top of all of that, gives you fun, addictive gameplay with your buddies, then check out Deadzone Rogue. Now up next on this list is Deep Rock Galactic, and in this game, you play as a badass space dwarf with 100% destructible environments, procedurally generated caves, and endless hordes of alien monsters to fight. This game is also 1 to 4 players in co-op, and it is a first-person shooter. So if you guys absolutely love where you get to work together in completely destructible environments, fighting off hordes of monsters and gaining loot, then you're going to absolutely love Deep Rock Galactic, because that is what it does, and it does it at a very, very high level. As you can see on the Steam reviews, it's overwhelmingly positive. Hundreds of thousands of people have played this game, and there's still thousands of people playing it now, and it is so much fun. So pick it up on your Steam Deck. It's verified, it runs great, it looks great, and I cannot recommend this game enough. And also, I am a massive fan of Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, which is the spin-off game of this, which is the Survivor type game. So these games really have a place in my heart, and I want for you to go check them out because they are awesome. Now up next is a very underrated gem, and that is Aliens Fireteam Elite. This game looks and runs spectacular on Steam Deck. I'm talking 60 plus FPS, and on top of all that, looking absolutely great, being able to toggle those settings to make it look phenomenal on your Steam Deck. And on top of all of that, if that wasn't enough for you, this is one of the most intense, fun online experiences I have had on my deck with my friends ever. This game puts you in the shoes of a space marine, where you go head to head against the xenomorphs that come at you in waves and waves and waves. Kind of like Space Marine 2, if you want to get like a comparison game. That's kind of what I think of whenever I played this. It's very similar to that, just a little less intense, of course. But this game is really fun, and I gotta tell you guys, it is a very good experience on your Steam Deck. So if you want to play a game that is looking great, running great, and is fun as heck to play with your friends, and very intense, pick up Aliens Fireteam Elite today. It's great. Now up next, we have Star Wars Battlefront 2, and this is the 2016 game from EA that is basically Battlefield with a Star Wars skin, and it works and runs flawlessly on your Steam Deck. I'm talking 60 frames per second online battlefields where you get to play as your favorite Star Wars characters going head to head with each other between the Empire and the Rebels, or, you know, the New Order thing that they had with the new movies and stuff like that. You can do whatever you want Star Wars lore-wise in massive battles in this game. So I highly recommend it, especially if you're a Battlefield fan, because a lot of the Battlefield games do not work on Steam Deck, but somehow this game does. So be sure to go give Star Wars Battlefront 2 a try, because this game is an absolutely epic game and is really fun on Steam Deck especially. And a lot of people came back to this game recently, so the servers are still bumping with players that you can find games pretty easily, and you're gonna absolutely love this experience, man. I'm telling you, especially Galactic Conquest. So be sure to check this one out on your Steam Deck today, man. It's awesome. Now up next is World War Z, and this is actually made by the same people who made Space Marine 2. So when you see the tech that the Tyranids use, you'll understand where it came from here. This game came first, the zombies climbing on top of each other to climb buildings to get to you and your friends within the buildings, within the areas that you are in this game is absolutely insane. And you guys have one goal whenever you play this game, and that is to kill every single zombie between you and your objective. This game is very much like a third-person Left 4 Dead if the zombies knew how to climb. Just imagine that, and you got World War Z down pat. This game is so much fun. It allows you to also set up defenses where you can get yourself ready for the absolute swarms and hordes that this game throws at you constantly. So be sure to pick this one up, because it is an underrated gem nowadays. I feel like nobody talks about World War Z anymore, and it is a really fun zombie game that works great on the deck, and I highly recommend it to all of you because it is so much fun. Now up next on this list we have Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Now this is a relatively newer game, and this one blows my mind that it even runs on the Steam Deck, because the graphics on this game are absolutely immaculate and the carnage is next level. This is a game where you play as Space Marines fighting off the Tyranid swarm, and you gotta go in with your buddies and slaughter them all to protect humanity. And it is absolutely epic from beginning to end whenever you see a Tyranid swarm just literally running at you full speed in the most violent, aggressive way humanly possible, and you know that you are a badass Space Marine with all the equipment necessary that can jack them up, and you're going to be able to go in there and do that in the gameplay with your chain sword, with your bolt gun, and being able to just curb stomp them into the ground. There's a lot of really cool things you can do in this game that is so epic and fun that I highly recommend this to all of you who want a really good horde-like game that you can play with your friends that is endlessly brutal in the most satisfying and fun way humanly possible. Be sure to check out Space Marine 2 on your Steam Deck. You will not regret it. It is amazing. In a franchise that I adore, and that is Dying Light the Beast. This game is really cool because it basically gives you the Dying Light and Dying Light 2 gameplay styles with the character from Dying Light 1 that everybody loved, but on top of that, it gives you the power to turn into a freaking werewolf and jack up zombies as a werewolf. Who wouldn't want to play that? This game is so freaking cool. I cannot recommend it enough. Please, if you are into zombie games and you love Dying Light, pick up Dying Light the Beast today. It is so freaking cool. This one is the most shocking game on this entire list that it works and runs on Steam Deck. And that is the newly released Ninja Gaiden 4. This game is absolutely fantastic. It is one of the best action games that you can play on the Steam Deck. Platinum Games, you killed it. Imagine that, by the way. Platinum Games making a good-ass game. Who would have thunked it, right? So Platinum Games is absolutely killing it here. The gameplay is so amazing. It is gory, it is fun, it is hard, it is everything that you want from a Ninja Gaiden game, and the storyline will keep you intrigued all the way to the end. And the graphics, oh, the graphics are gorgeous, and the fact that this thing is Steam Deck verified blows my freaking mind. So good job, Platinum Games. Good job, Xbox, and everybody involved on making this thing run like a dream on the Steam Deck so that us Steam Deckers can play this thing on the go, because holy crap, is this awesome that we can play a brand new AAA action intense game like Ninja Gaiden 4 on the go on our Steam Decks. Let's go, boys. This is an awesome get. and that's why it is on this list. Pick this one up. It is so fun. Stardew Valley is absolutely fantastic, especially if you love those cozy type games where you're in a farm and all that type of stuff, and you're just doing farming simulator stuff for hundreds, if not thousands of hours. This is that type of game for you if you're into that, and I think that you need to pick this up on your Steam Deck right now if you haven't already, because this game is so much fun and it is very, very addicting. Sniper Elite 5 is next, and I'm going to be honest, I'm shocked this one works. I heard so many things about bad PC ports for this and how it doesn't work on a 4070 very well and all this type of stuff, and I was just really shocked and amazed when I put this game on my Steam Deck and it ran very, very well. And on top of that, I was shocked by how fun this game is, man. The gameplay where you shoot the sniper and you can like watch the bullet in slow motion, kind of like Wanted, and it's zoomed in, you know, the movie Wanted. It's very similar to that. And you get some satisfying sniper kills in this game, man. Some very satisfying ones. And also the whole World War II theme where you're in like different spots in the war and whatnot. I absolutely love that as a history junkie. So if you're like me and you love history, you love like intense gunplay that has some really fun moments in it, I highly recommend Sniper Elite 5 because I think this is one of the better games. The only complaint that I will say that I have that I want to bring up before we move on to the next game is the fact that there is a lot of DLC for this game. So there is a chance that you might want to have to spend more money because there's more content hidden behind a paywall. Maybe there's not enough there in the base game, which that does suck. But other than that, this game is so fun and I highly recommend it to all of you. Now, up next is one of my personal favorite multiplayer games of all time, and that is Team Fortress 2. I love the level design. I love the class systems. The guns are elite in this game. I just think that everything about this is just fun. I really enjoyed everything that I played in this game whenever I was younger, and the fact that I can go back and have a nostalgia trip on my Steam Deck is just so awesome, man. I'm telling you, playing older games on Steam Deck too can sometimes just be really fun and kind of be the move. Like that's kind of one thing that I'm learning sometimes with this device is like playing Team Fortress 2 on the go. Like who doesn't want to do that? That is so awesome. So pick up Team Fortress 2 and give it a go so you can see what I'm talking about when I say it is one of the best, if not the best multiplayer shooter ever made. I love this game. A Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma is a very interesting game that I really didn't know if I would like it whenever I first booted it up, but I ended up loving it, getting addicted to it, and really being impressed with the overall frame rate, performance, and just overall graphical look of this game on the Steam Deck. So if you guys love like I guess it's like a farming sim slash action game. It's like a bunch of games mixed into one. That's why I didn't know what to think of it whenever I first bought it. But it really is a fun, cool experience on your Steam Deck. So I highly recommend it, and it runs great. So just check this one out. Street Fighter 6 in my mind is without a doubt the best fighting game on the Steam Deck, so I highly recommend it. It has phenomenal online play as long as you know how to play fighting games, of course. It has amazing graphics and some of the best frame rates you're going to have on the Steam Deck. This is one of the best optimized games I think I've ever played, period, on PC, and I can't get enough of it because I love fighting games. I love Street Fighter, and the fact that this runs, looks, and plays as great as it does on the Steam Deck, it is absolutely addictive. So if you want a really cool fighting game on your Steam Deck, pick up Street Fighter 6, man. It's the best one you can buy. Now this next one, I kind of feel like people, play it for different reasons, and that is The Sims 4. This is a game that I will say is slightly better on PC, but the reason I'm recommending this on Steam Deck is because beforehand, that was because of mouse controls. Guess what the Steam Deck has? A trackpad. So that problem is completely solved here on the Steam Deck, and it runs and looks great and gives you that, home management type gameplay that you've been wanting where you get to make a bunch of people and just either torture them or let them live their life peacefully or do whatever you want. I've seen people do some pretty crazy stuff in The Sims 4. So if you want to play a game like that where you just control a bunch of people and let them live their lives, whether you want to make that life miserable or great, then definitely check out The Sims 4 on your Steam Deck today. Now, you can't have a list with Resident Evil 2 Remake on it and not put Resident Evil 3 Remake. I mean, come on. This game's graphics are insane on the Steam Deck. It runs phenomenal on the Steam Deck. I don't think anybody's really shocked because the RE engine is just overall one of the best engines ever made for video game optimization. So these Resident Evil remakes run chef's kiss across the board for the most part on the Steam Deck, and I just gotta be real. This is one of the better games. It has a worse story than 2, I will say that. Worse characters a little bit too. But other than that, I just think this is one of the best games you can get on the Steam Deck, and I absolutely love this thing, man. So please check out Resident Evil 3 Remake. I can't talk enough about how good 2 and 3 Remake are. They're so fun. You guys like Pokemon? Do you wish they had guns? Well, how about you get Palworld? Because that's basically what it is. It's Pokemon with guns. This game is absolutely fantastic. And as you guys know, this is actually getting sued by Nintendo currently for just how close it is to Pokemon. So I mean it when I say if you love Pokemon and you wanted them to have guns, get Palworld. This game runs great on the deck. It controls a little finicky. You're going to have to probably do some adjusting because obviously it's planned for it to be mouse and keyboard when you're playing this. So be sure that you check out like some of the Steam input button things that they have on there because that's what I did to help me big time with the control schemes. But other than that, Palworld is an absolutely phenomenal experience on the Steam Deck and I can't recommend it enough. So go check it out. No Man's Sky is another phenomenal cozy type game you can play on your Steam Deck. This game is all about exploring outer planets and the outer worlds. It's about exploring everything that you can see and being able to enjoy this game to the fullest. That is what No Man's Sky is to me, and this game is phenomenal on Steam Deck for exactly that. You can take it on the go, sleep and resume anywhere you are on the planets, and just enjoy every single second of the immersion that you get from No Man's Sky. So be sure to check this one out. It's one of my favorites now, even though it came out as No Man's Lie for everyone who remembers. They have definitely improved this game a lot, and it's definitely worth the purchase nowadays. Now, up next, we have Resident Evil 2 Remake, and this is basically if you love the original Resident Evils and you want to have that with better graphics, better gameplay, and just quality of life improvements, that is what Resident Evil 2 brings to the table. I absolutely love the original game here, so being able to play this remake on the Steam Deck on the go is just everything that I wanted it to be and more. So please pick this one up if you've never tried the old Resident Evil games before, because this is one of the better ones, and I absolutely love Resident Evil 2 Remake, so check it out. Then after that, I want to talk about another Ninja Gaiden that also runs above 30 FPS and is also verified on this system if you want to play more Ninja Gaiden, because maybe you're just getting an itch after you tried Ninja Gaiden 4 or the Sigma Trilogy or whatever it may be, and that is Ninja Gaiden 2 Black Remake. This game is absolutely intense, fun, just like Ninja Gaiden 4. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's also the exact same engine as Ninja Gaiden 4. So if you want to play just more intense, fun action as real Hayabusa, baby, then pick up Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. This is one of my favorite franchises of all time, man. So the fact that like the whole franchise, including the newest game, works on Steam Deck has me amped. I'm sorry if I'm yelling in my mic. I'm so excited. Thank you, guys. Thank you for making these games work on deck. Yes, let's go. Buy these games. Pick them up. They're amazing. Do you like JRPGs? Do you like Persona, but you're sick of playing the high school stuff? Okay, pick up Metaphor. That's literally all I gotta say, because that's what Metaphor Refantazio is. It is just Persona without the high school drama stuff in it. It's literally that. This is a fantasy game where it's really fun, and I can't recommend it enough. But as I said before, man, the best way to describe this game is if you love Persona, but you don't want to deal with the high school stuff, Metaphor Refantazio is for you. This game is so good, and I think that it just blew my mind. I love Metaphor, and I think everyone should try it on the Steam Deck. It looks great. It plays great. Everything about this game on the Steam Deck specifically is phenomenal. So please check out Metaphor. Risk of Rain 2 is an absolutely fantastic indie where you're trying to escape a chaotic alien planet by fighting through hordes of frenzied monsters with your friends or on your own. Combine loot in surprising ways and master each character until you become the havoc you feared upon your first crash landing. And I'm gonna be honest, this one is one of the best games you can play with your friends. It is so fun in co-op. So I highly recommend it for all you Steam Deckers that are wanting to play with each other, because this is another great online game that you can play without being blocked by anti-cheat. So therefore, check this one out. I think you're really going to love it. And if you're also a fan of third-person shooters, this is just one of the best in general, even if the roguelike didn't already sell you. So definitely check this one out. Kingdom Hearts is finally on Steam, and I can't believe it took so freaking long to get these games on the Steam platform. But what I am happy to report is that they all run and look great on the deck. So if you're like me and like your favorite experience with Kingdom Hearts was playing these games on like a PSP or a DS or a 3DS, something that was portable instead of on your home console or on your PC, then I think you're going to absolutely love this experience, because it really brought me back to playing like the older Kingdom Hearts on portable consoles. And I really just loved it. I wanted this forever, and it finally happened. So thank you, Square, for finally giving us Kingdom Hearts, because these games are really good. The story might be a little confusing, but other than that, they're great. So check this game out if you haven't already. Now, for all my Halloween lovers out there, here's a horror game for you, and that is Little Nightmares 3. Now, I will say this game is not as good as 1 and 2, which were made by the developers that are now working on Reanimal, but this game is still really good and still has some pretty good scares in it. So if you're looking for something fun to play for Halloween, I think Little Nightmares 3 will still have you covered, and definitely check it out, because it is one of those games that I think would kind of go under the radar, especially with the whole Reanimal situation going on. So definitely check it out if you want a horror game on your Steam Deck. That's pretty cool. Now, this game is one of my favorite zombie games of all time. It has really great performance on the Steam Deck, and it's just absolutely addictive as hell. And that is Left 4 Dead 2. This game looks and plays great on the deck, and on top of that, it's really fun to play with your friends and doesn't block the anti-cheat type stuff where you can just play online on Linux, no problem, which is awesome. So I love Left 4 Dead 2, and I can't recommend it enough to all of you. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked that I haven't brought this game up to this point. So Left 4 Dead 2 is absolutely fantastic. Pick it up. Kingdom Two Crowns is an absolutely fantastic game that runs and looks phenomenal on your Steam Deck. But on top of that, in this game, you'll be gathering coins, building defenses, and reclaiming your fallen kingdom. Explore and uncover secrets, unlock new technologies, and protect your crown versus waves of greedy monsters that come at night. Kingdom is a solo or co-op microstrategy and tower defense game set in an atmospheric pixelated world. This game has some of the most beautiful graphics that I've seen in terms of a pixelated world environment. And on top of all of that, it just gives you so much fun with tower defense type gameplay and all that type of stuff. It's very addicting. Really good, again, for that sleep and resume feature on the Steam Deck as well. So this is a game that I highly recommend. Pick up Kingdom Two Crowns. Now, maybe you didn't like that one because you prefer the games from the Reanimal developers and you really think that that is a better style for what you're looking for in Little Nightmares. Well, how about we go back a little bit and play Little Nightmares 2, one of the better games in the entire franchise. I love this one. It has a bunch of spooks. This game is legitimately horrifying in some areas. Like, you will be literally quaking in your boots as some things happen to you in this game. And on top of that, the co-op is insanely good in all the Little Nightmares games, but I think it is one of the best ever in Little Nightmares 2. So if you want to play a fun, scary horror game with a friend on your Steam Deck, definitely check out Little Nightmares 2. Now, up next is Marvel Rivals, and this is a game that for some of you, I bet you refuse to play this without a mouse and keyboard. But for those of you like me that play mostly controller anyways on PC, you're going to love this game on your Steam Deck because it looks and runs pretty dang good, and it's one of the few online games that don't get blocked by the anti-cheat stuff from Linux. So if you want a fun multiplayer game that doesn't block you out because you're on Linux, I highly recommend this game strictly for that reason, because it is one of the better multiplayer games. On story time strain. Oh wait, hold on. We gotta wait. Now we can go. Digimon Story Time Stranger is basically Pokemon with more RPG elements. So if you want a really good storyline and really fun creatures to collect on your Steam Deck, on the go, on your PC, this is one of the best games you can play out there right now. And it is also one of the newer games on this list. So be sure to check it out as it is a phenomenal game. Final Fantasy Tactics has returned with Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. Now, if you're like me and you're a diehard Final Fantasy fan and you absolutely love strategy games, this is one of the best games that you can buy to date. This game has really beautiful remastered graphics from the older Final Fantasy Tactics games. So if you love those visuals, you're going to love what they've done here. And on top of that, you have an addicting gameplay loop of a strategy RPG where you can level up your characters and basically play like a Fire Emblem type grid gameplay loop that is just so fun and addicting. And with Final Fantasy characters and a Final Fantasy storyline to boot, this is one of the best games you can play on the Steam Deck. So definitely pick up Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles today. Now, this game I didn't like quite as much as New Vegas, but I still enjoyed it, and that was Fallout 4. Now, unlike Fallout New Vegas, this game's story is dumb. I will tell you that ahead of time. You're playing this strictly for the awesome gameplay systems, the amazing open world choice, and the fun side quests that you get throughout this game. But if you want to play this for the main quests, oh man, the main story in this game is dumb. That's why I say New Vegas is 10 times better, because the main story in that is actually good. But everything else about this game, from the gameplay to the exploration to the open world to the side quests, all that stuff is absolutely fantastic. Some of the best we've seen in Fallout, honestly. So if you don't care about the main story and you want to just have fun in an open world environment with the VAT system and go just have a good time, Fallout 4 is absolutely fantastic. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is legitimately one of the better RPG games in the Assassin's Creed RPG genre that they're doing nowadays. I absolutely love Odyssey. I love the setting. I love that you can explore the entirety of ancient Greece and just have fun, man. Like, you can find mythological creatures to fight and all that type of stuff too. The level up system in this game is actually fun too, because they base it off of better RPGs than what the Assassin's Creed games generally do. And I think that it's just really cool. And then they also did a thing where they went and they played The Witcher 3 and they kind of copied that for the side quests and stuff like that. So you have some really cool stuff here. And you also just have a phenomenal bevy of DLCs. Like, I think that legitimately, if you get the gold edition of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's actually worth it, because this is the game for Assassin's Creed where the DLC is actually good. So be sure to check this one out, because I think you'll enjoy Assassin's Creed Odyssey quite a bit. Now, this one might be a little bit controversial, and that's Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know a lot of people hated on this game whenever it came out, but the setting and the story and just everything about being a Viking was just so fun to me that I had to put it here. And I also kind of love this show called The Last Kingdom on Netflix. If you haven't heard of it, go check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. And honestly, this game gave me a lot of Last Kingdom vibes. Like, the story isn't quite as good, but it really kept me engaged with seeing characters from that show in this game because of the time frame and where we were playing. So I really enjoy Valhalla. I highly recommend it. I hate the DLCs to this game, though, so I would not recommend buying the DLCs whatsoever. Just buy the standard edition if you're going to buy this game. But other than that, Valhalla is awesome. And I know that's a hot take, but just play it and trust me on this one. Assassin's Creed Origins was the game that started it all for these RPG Assassin's Creed games, and I do think that storyline-wise, it is the best one. I think if you want to play a game that still feels very linked to the Assassins storyline-wise, and also gives you very much so Assassin's Creed gameplay in this open-world RPG environment, I think Assassin's Creed Origins is by far the best of these. I will say, though, that this game does have some very bare-bones leveling up systems compared to Odyssey and Valhalla, so if you want to have a much better RPG experience, the newer games are obviously going to give you that. But in this case, I think if you want story and the link to the Assassin Brotherhood, this is the best game you can play in the RPG genre if that's what you're looking for. So check out Origins for sure. Oh, and I gotta be honest, we're talking about DLCs with these games too. Buy the Gold Edition. This game, much like Odyssey, has some of the best Assassin's Creed DLC ever made. So buy the Gold Edition for sure. Batman Arkham Knight is the last part of this trilogy, and I still think it is great, even though it is the weakest entry in the entire trilogy. In this game, Scarecrow takes over, so you don't have to fight against the Joker anymore, and I think that that is one of the cooler changes that they did. And on top of that, this game also has phenomenal graphics and runs great now, anyways, on the Steam Deck. And I just can't recommend this game enough. If you love the Arkham combat, you want a new villain, it definitely gives you all that. And you also have the whole stuff with the Arkham Knight that is kind of interesting too, even though the reveal was kind of meh. Other than that, it was great. So definitely check out Arkham Knight on your Steam Deck. And if you like what you heard before, here's the sequel to Batman Arkham Asylum, which is Batman Arkham City. Bigger scope, bigger scale, more enemies, more villains. That's all this game is. It is basically Arkham Asylum with a much larger scope than what was there before. So you get more gadgets, you get more places to go and explore, you get more villains, and a much, much bigger place as you get to play in the entirety of Arkham City instead of just the Asylum. So if that sounds fun to you, definitely pick up Arkham City. Now, up next is the game that brought us the Arkham combat, and that is Batman Arkham Asylum. I absolutely love this game because it is the game that introduced us to the phenomenal trilogy that is the Arkham trilogy. And this one stars Arkham Asylum with the Joker going rampant in there and just taking the place over and making it turn into a madhouse. So if you want to play a game where you get to beat up goons, enjoy Batman villains, and just watch them absolutely wreak havoc on Arkham Asylum and play as Batman to solve mysteries and beat the ever-living crap out of every single enemy you see, this is the game for you. So pick up Batman Arkham Asylum. This list is Stellar Blade. Now this is a relatively newer game and it does have a Steam verified rating. It does give you about a 30 to 40 FPS, which gives you a massive boost with lossless scaling as well, where you can get it up to about 60 frames per second. So this game is very good, very fun. It's a Souls-like where you get to have a bunch of hot women beat up on aliens. So if that sounds fun to you, then go ahead and check out Stellar Blade on your Steam Deck because I think you're really going to enjoy this one and it's fun to play on the go. Up next, we have the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and this is a trilogy that you get to enjoy that is one of the best trilogies of all time. This is Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 with all the DLCs that come with that. And this game is absolutely spectacular. It looks great on the Steam Deck, especially the OLED with all the vibrant colors and things that make this game stand out amongst the crowd. And just playing through Shepard's story again is just absolutely phenomenal. So if you want to do that on the go, pick this up on your Steam Deck. It is also on a deep sale right now, so go ahead and check this one out. The Crysis Remastered Trilogy. This game is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Crysis 3, especially the story beats and all that type of stuff you go through with the phenomenal graphics, and the really fun Predator type gameplay is just top notch. So if this sounds awesome to you, you have one in New York, one on an island, and then one that's like a mixture of the two that came before it, which is in New York still, but it's kind of like a barren jungle-esque alien taking over New York in a dome. It's really hard to explain how they came up with that, but it's really cool how they go about it. So be sure to check out Crysis Remastered on your Steam Deck. It is one of the most unique, fun experiences you can have. Now, up next is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, this game is absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I have to talk too much about it. Most people know what this is, but for those of you that are here that are relatively new to PC gaming, let me go ahead and tell you about The Witcher 3 just real quick. This game stars Geralt of Rivia, and you get to go through, beat monsters, and just play a phenomenal story where your choices matter. And what I really love about this game is the fact that the side quests are definitely the best content. Like, the main story is really good, and you can play through it and enjoy it. But this is one of the only games where I seeked out side quests because of the stories that they had and all the awesome choices you can make. So if you really want to play a game that just sinks you into the world and immerses you and gives you a bunch of really cool stories, even beyond the main story, definitely check out The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on your Steam Deck. This one actually kind of makes me sad because I don't know if we'll ever get a sequel to this phenomenal game, and that is Titanfall 2. This game is so good. It has some of the best first-person shooter mechanics and a very underrated campaign with a story that will definitely tug at your heartstrings and also give you a bunch of really fun action-packed moments. And on top of all of that, the multiplayer on this game is still very alive and very fun, where you get to go in your mechs and just battle each other. And it also has a very Call of Duty type gameplay that leads before the mechs, to where whenever you're not in your mech, you're able to have really fun combat encounters. So if you want to play a game like that, Titanfall 2 is phenomenal. And please, EA, give us Titanfall 3. We deserve it. It's amazing. And up next on this list is V Rising, which is basically just like Valheim, where it's like you build, you survive, and all that type of stuff. But it's with vampires. So this game is very cool and very fun. So if you're into that whole survival, build, fight type game, you're going to love V Rising. And this game runs absolutely phenomenally on the Steam Deck, as one would expect, because it's a smaller indie type game that doesn't have the demanding graphics, but definitely has the fun gameplay and the awesome aesthetic. So if that sounds cool to you, be sure to check out V Rising on your Steam Deck. Now let's talk about Valheim, which is basically the exact same thing that I just said with V Rising, but with Vikings. So if you liked what you heard with V Rising and you want to play a Viking-themed version of that, Valheim is definitely the best game for you. It looks great, it plays great, and on top of all of that, this game is addicting. I mean, you could put thousands of hours into both this and V Rising, so I highly recommend both of these games if you're into this survival type element game that you can play on your Steam Deck on the go and have a great time. And also the sleep and resume features on these games are just absolutely awesome, so definitely check them out. You like Warhammer? Do you like boomer shooters? Well, you're in luck then, because Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun has your number. This game is absolutely phenomenal. If you love games like Turbo Overkill and you also love games like, Warhammer anything, you're going to be able to enjoy this to the fullest. This game has a really cool story that puts you in the Warhammer 40k universe, where you obviously play as a Space Marine, and you get to go around shooting enemies with the awesome iconic Space Marine weapons. So if you guys want to play a game like that, where you get to put yourself in the shoes and the boots of a Space Marine, and you've played all the Space Marine games already and you just want something new and fresh, Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun is definitely for you. So we now have yet another Zombie Survivors, which is one of my personal addictions. I think this game is absolutely phenomenal. It's very, very addicting, so be careful, especially with the sleep and resume feature where you can just pause the game, come back, and you're in an insane run. This game will hold your attention. It's a very cheap game too, so if you want a game that's not going to tax your wallet, this is definitely one of the better ones. But in this game, you basically, it's a survivor game. You run around, you kill enemies, you level up, you get new perks and new allies and things of that nature to help you eliminate the zombies until you literally die and you have to restart. So if that sounds awesome to you, definitely try out yet another Zombie Survivors. This game is so much fun, and you can get thousands of hours out of this game. So definitely. So Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair. This is a very underrated game that's actually getting a remake pretty soon. So be able to check that one out at some point on the Steam Deck should be interesting as well. But that ain't out yet. The Impossible Lair, it definitely takes that name very literally. It gets very difficult in there. So if you want to play a very fun, relatively challenging, and very cool 3D platformer, definitely check out Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Up next we have Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, and this game is phenomenal, as all of the Wolfenstein games are. In fact, you should honestly play all these games on deck. This is just the one that I picked in particular, and to be honest, guys, the gunplay, superb. The gunplay is some of the best you will play in a game like this, period. And on top of the gunplay being immaculate, you also have really good graphics, which I was actually kind of shocked at given when this game came out, and also playing on the Steam Deck. Sometimes graphics can be a bit of an issue, but not in this game. They look great on the deck. And on top of that too, you also have a really interesting story. It's not as good as like the Old Blood or the New Order or any of that. It's not as good as those, but it is still really cool and serviceable to play through. And of course, blasting through your enemies with really iconic guns from the Wolfenstein franchise has never been more fun than it is right here. So be sure to check this game out on your Steam Deck today. Overkill is a absolutely fantastic boomer shooter where you have chainsaws for your feet. This is a game that is fast-paced, brutal, and visceral, so if you love just high-octane, intense action, and you want to take it on the go, because this game is verified and runs at very, very high frame rates. I'm talking like 60 to 90 FPS, depending if you have an OLED model or not, and this game is just so much fun to play. The storyline's also kind of cool. It's kind of one of those like Saturday morning cartoon type of things, and I just really enjoyed everything about this game, honestly. It's an indie gem for all of you who love indie games. games, and it's always constantly on sale for like $5 to $10. So if you love cheap, fun indies, be sure to pick up Turbo Overkill. Devil May Cry 5 is an absolutely amazing action game. It's one of the best you can buy, especially for the Steam Deck, where it plays at a very good, blazing fast 60 FPS. And on top of all that, you get a really cool story where you get to play as Dante, Nero, and all these different characters that you have throughout the Devil May Cry universe that are all fun to use in both combat, gameplay, and story. So if you enjoy all this amazing action-packed fun you get to have in this game, best pick up Devil May Cry 5. And this is another one that goes on sale quite often, so if you enjoy getting cheaper games that you can take on the go with your Steam Deck, I personally believe Devil May Cry 5 is one of the best options you can do, so pick it up for your Steam Deck today. Redemption 2 is an absolutely amazing game set in the Wild West where you play as Arthur Morgan and you get to live his whole entire life as an outlaw in the story. There's some funny moments, there's some really intense action-packed moments, and there's just so much stuff here that every single gamer will really love. And I'm going to be honest, this is one of the best narratives I have ever played in a video game. That you will be laughing, crying, and really getting into these characters throughout the story and multiple different moments and beats that it has with it. So I can't recommend this game enough. Now, I will tell you guys that this is about a 30 FPS game because this game is a very big game. So this isn't going to get you 60, but I still think that this game is a phenomenal experience on Steam Deck that every single person should play. Hollow Knight the Original is the game that started it all for Hollow Knight Silksong in this franchise, and this is one of the best Metroidvanias ever made, much like its sequel, Hollow Knight Silksong. This game has intense action, fun bosses, and a lot of really cool Metroidvania elements that make you want to explore the whole entire world, learn the lore, and do all the stuff you do in Metroid-type games. This game is a blazing 90 FPS on the OLED and 60 if you have the LCD deck. So if you really love great performing games that have a lot of fun gameplay moments and just a fun world to explore, I believe Hollow Knight is one of the best games you can own on your Steam Deck today. And I think that every single one of you should pick up both this game and Hollow Knight Silksong on your Steam Decks. Now up next is a game that I'm actually shocked I could put on this list, but it does run at a stable 30, so I'm going to put it here, and that is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This is a game that I am very shocked works on the Steam Deck, given the fact that the Steam Deck struggles with big open world titles, which is what KCD2 is. But this game is so well optimized that it runs and looks phenomenal on this system, especially if you use things like the lossless scaling and the FSR and things of that nature that you can do on the Steam Deck. I just think that this is one of the best open world game experiences you can have on the system, and it's also a newer game. So if you want to play a Game of the Year contender for 2025 on the go on your Steam Deck, you can right here with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now up next is one of my personal favorites, and that is Rise, Son of Rome. I think this game is absolutely phenomenal, from the story beats to the action-packed gameplay to the mixtures of legends and lore into the storyline that they do. That's really cool. I just love everything about Rise, Son of Rome. The only reason that I think this game didn't do as well is because of the QuickTime events, because we were going into an era where QuickTime events were kind of overdone and things of that nature. But this game is really good, let me tell you. It's really easy, though, I will tell you that too. So if you want a more difficult game, you may not like Rise, Son of Rome as much as I did, but if you want just some fun action-packed carnage where you can go through levels and just beat the crap out of everything in front of you and enjoy a really good narrative on top of all that, I think this game has you covered. And on top of that, guys, this is one of the best performing and looking games on the entire Steam Deck, in my opinion. You can play at very high settings on the Steam Deck and still achieve around 45 to 50 FPS, and on top of that, you also can just really enjoy this game for everything that it's worth, especially if you have the OLED where the colors pop and all that type of stuff. So I highly recommend Rise, Son of Rome to all my Steam Deck. Next, Mankind Divided is one of my personal favorite stealth espionage action-packed drama type games that you can play on the Steam Deck. In my opinion, it runs and looks phenomenal, and this game has a phenomenal storyline. Other than the ending, I will let you guys know, if you guys are sour on mediocre endings, then this game might piss you off a little bit when you get to the end, but I won't tell you what happens. I'll leave that to you, spoiler free here. But this game is so much fun where you get to sneak around, you get to hack things, you get to do stealth kills in the coolest ways you can think of in most of these missions, and also the storyline is really intense and it draws you in
to all of the things that are going on in this world. So if you love games that just draw you in and just give you this foreboding atmosphere, and you really just want to be able to enjoy the story and immerse yourself in a world, I think Mankind Divided does that perfectly. Now up next we have a bit of a controversial one to some people, I am almost guaranteeing that, and it is Diablo 4. This is a game that I think is absolutely fantastic if you're into action RPGs. I really enjoyed the leveling systems and all that type of stuff in this game. And the storyline is dark and intense and gritty, which is something that a lot of Diablo fans, including myself, have been kind of wanting from this franchise. So if that's something where you played Diablo 3 and you said, it's a little not Diablo-y for me, Diablo 4 fixed a lot of those problems. So if you really enjoy that intensity that Diablo used to bring and you want it to come back, I think Diablo 4 has you covered. The only issue that I have with this game, and I will call this out for all of you that hate microtransactions, is there are a lot of microtransactions in this game, and I think there's even a season pass, and there's a lot of things to buy with your money in this game, which personally I don't like that much, because Diablo's always been like a single player fun thing for me where you might do some co-op with friends or something, but it's never been like this whole live service type thing that it is now. So if the live service elements of certain games bother you, then you're not gonna probably like this game too much, just because it is everywhere here. So I will give you guys a heads up with that. But if that doesn't bother you and you like to just play a fun ARPG with, the occasional annoying pop-up to make you want to buy something, then you're going to love Diablo 4, because the gameplay itself is really good here. Up next, we have an indie hidden gem in Dead Cells. I think this game is absolutely fantastic. I love the exploration. The combat is really fun, challenging, and addicting, and it makes you want to just keep doing more runs, because obviously this is a roguelike, and this is a type of game where you want to live, die, repeat, and be able to level up and do all the cool stuff that you want to do in games like Hades and stuff of that nature. So if those type of games are your cup of tea, you gotta play Dead Cells. And I bet you a lot of the people watching this video have probably played this game already, because it is relatively old. But if you are new to the Steam Deck and you are new to the Steam ecosystem and you have never played Dead Cells, do yourself a favor. Pick this one up. It's one of the best. The Division 2 is an awesome looter shooter from Ubisoft that is one of the quintessential titles I think you need to have on a Steam Deck. And the reason I say this is because this is the perfect pick up and play game for everybody that has a Steam Deck, that has a bunch of friends who want to play games with them. Because this is a perfect online game you play for half an hour, and then you put it down and you move on with your day. I think that this is perfect for on-the-go play because it runs and looks great on your Steam Deck, especially if you have an OLED model. It looks and pops great off the screen. So if you want a really fun multiplayer-centric type game for your Steam Deck, I think look no further than The Division 2 because this game is awesome. This is Persona 5 Royal. You guys all know this game. This game's been out forever, and it's a phenomenal JRPG where you play as Joker in the Phantom Thieves, and there's so much awesome stuff here. Fun leveling, fun monster stuff that you get to fight in these dungeons that are really cool and well designed and have a really cool anime aesthetic to them. So if you guys enjoy anime type graphics, you're gonna love that here too. And this game runs great on everything, including the Steam Deck. You get max FPS for the most part throughout the whole entire game. And dude, the OLED screen version of this game, if you have the Steam Deck OLED, is absolutely immaculate. So I highly recommend this in general, but if you have the OLED, I'm like saying this is a must-have. Go get Persona 5 Royal today. So up next is Persona 3 Reload, and this game, much like Persona 5 that we just talked about, has a beautiful aesthetic, great graphics, fun gameplay, and really pops off the OLED screen. So if you guys have a Steam Deck, I highly recommend both of these games, but Persona 3 Reload is a really, really special game if you want to play a much better version of an older game that everybody liked but had certain parts of it that nobody liked, that they really fixed up and reworked here to make it more playable and enjoyable. So definitely pick this up on your Steam Deck. It is awesome, and it's also on sale right now in the autumn sale. Now up next we have Agent 47 and Hitman. This game is awesome. Get the World of Assassination Edition so you have all of the Hitmans in one game. This is freaking awesome. You get all the levels, all the assassination targets, all the things that you would want from the Hitman 1, 2, and 3 reboot games that we've gotten recently from IO Interactive. They're all here in the Hitman World of Assassination Edition, and I cannot recommend this enough. It looks great, it plays great, and if you love stealth games where you can get a bit goofy with how you take things out, that is exactly what Hitman is. So pick this game up immediately if any of that sounds great to you. Up next is a very underrated game, and that is Greedfall. I love this game to death because it has choices, politics, all the things that you would want in an exploration type open world RPG. Greedfall has it. This game has a phenomenal story with a lot of choices that actually shape how the world goes depending how you play the game, which I think is sick. Now, what I will say is this game is significantly better than Greedfall 2. So if you're looking between this and Greedfall 2, please pick up the original. The first one is so good, and it even opens up with this massive exploration into this new world to immediately suck you into it, and I just can't get enough of Greedfall. I love this game. Now, it does have a bit of jank, so if you guys are anti-jank, you may not like it as much as I did, but I'm gonna be real, the bosses are fun, the world is awesome, and all that to me is worth dealing with a bit of jank. It is amazing on Steam Deck as well. Pick it up. Up next is the closest thing we ever have to a Godzilla game, and that is Gigabash. This game is awesome, and I honestly only recommend buying this if you end up buying the character DLCs, because playing as Godzilla and all the monsters from that is what makes this game fun, at least for me. So if you guys buy this, do know you need DLC to have like the ultimate fun with it, but the game is fantastic. It has destructible environments, fun monster fights, and all the things that you would want from a kaiju battle brawler game that we used to get back in the day with Godzilla branding most of the time. So if that sounds awesome to you, pick up Gigabash on your Steam Deck. Up next is one of my favorite indies that nobody talks about, and that is Guns, Gore, and Cannolis 2. This game is absolutely phenomenal, and it has multiple different enemy types, like you get to fight against mobsters, gangsters, Nazi zombies, things of this nature, and you get to just have fun. Now, this is one of the most just pure fun action games I've ever played in my life. It is a side scroller, it is really good, and it runs great on the Steam Deck because it's just a little indie title, so there's nothing like super taxing about it. So this game runs and looks great on the deck, but it is so unique, so fun, and so over the top that I cannot recommend this thing enough. So please pick this up if you have a Steam Deck. I think you will love Guns, Gore, and Cannolis too. Horus is an absolutely phenomenal space action fighting game. That's what I would call it anyways, where you have a bunch of intrigue with the story about the chorus, hence the name of the game, and you get to go through and have these special abilities that are used from the chorus that you can use to fight the enemies. It's really cool and really fun. I actually don't want to say too much about this game because there's a lot of intrigue and stuff that I think you guys should actually play this and figure out for yourselves, but this game runs and looks great on the Steam Deck, especially, again, if you have an OLED. I know I'm probably beating that home really hard that you need an OLED for some of these games, but this is one of the most color-driven games I've ever seen, so like having the OLED screen pop those colors out will definitely make the experience look better for you. I'm just going to be honest. So pick up Chorus. It is a really cool game, and it's very, very underrated. Horizon Zero Dawn is an awesome game where you get to fight robot dinosaurs with your weapons, and you get to explore this awesome world with a lot of intrigue about how did we get here, why is everything the way it is, and what is Aloy's future and story. All that is answered here. Now, of course, unfortunately, in my opinion, Horizon Forbidden West did some things that I didn't really like with where they went with the story, but this game's story is so good, and the intrigue of seeing the old ones and stuff like that is just amazing. So if you guys want to play a game that's got a lot of supernatural type, sci-fi-esque elements, where you get to enjoy both a really deep future story, kind of like a Terminator type thing, and you get to enjoy fighting robot dinosaurs in a kind of prehistoric type time frame as well, and you want to have a just really cool mix-up of that, then that is exactly what Horizon Zero Dawn is, and you will love this game, so pick it up on your Steam Deck. Middle-earth Shadow of War is absolutely awesome. This game is one of those games that has the first ever introduction of something really cool, and that is the Nemesis system. So this is one of my favorite systems in all of gaming. In fact, my favorite game of all time is later on in this list, which is the sequel to this game. I absolutely love the Nemesis system. The fact that you can run through, kill an enemy, and then you can lose to a random orc, and he becomes this high-ranking official that you have to hunt down and do these multiple different things to take him out. I think that is so cool, and it adds to the endless replayability of these games to the point where, like, you can have all of the leaders wiped out and then get killed by some random orc, and he'll start a whole new army against you in both this game and the sequel that we'll be talking about later. So I absolutely recommend anything in the Middle-earth series, but definitely play Shadow of Mordor, as this is where the story all began, and both these games have immaculate storylines, so check them out. Now, as I said, we'll be talking about it here in a second. Here it is, Middle-earth Shadow of War. This is my personal favorite game of all time. I know some people are going to make fun of that probably in the comment section, but I don't care. This is one of the only games I've ever 100%ed. It's one of the only games I've put over 1,000 hours into, and it's one of the only games that has made me want to sink my teeth into it over and over again, non-stop, no matter what. The Nemesis system in this is more addicting because you have the fortress assaults and you have the things of that nature where you're able to take your army and verse it with a bunch of other orc armies and take over forts, take over territory, and win in the gladiator battles that you can do in this game. It is so much fun, and it's really cool to just build your orc army and feel that power fantasy. So definitely pick up both of these games. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're probably on a deep sale right now, so there's no reason not to pick these games up. So up next is the Tomb Raider trilogy, and these games are honestly, if you like Uncharted but you don't want to play Uncharted, these are the games you play. They're very similar, they're very fun, they look and they run phenomenally on the Steam Deck, so I highly recommend the Tomb Raider trilogy to anybody who's into that Uncharted type of game, but you've already played Uncharted and you want something different on your Steam Deck. Gears of War Reloaded is absolutely fantastic, and I gotta be honest, it's one of the better multiplayer games on the Steam Deck, given the fact that Call of Duty and things of that nature just do not work on here. So I highly recommend everybody who's looking for a fun multiplayer and single player experience to pick up Gears of War Reloaded, because this game is where the awesome story of Marcus Phoenix started. So if you want a badass campaign, it's here. You get that whole like old school Xbox 360 shooter vibe from this, because that's where it came from, man. This is like a remake, remaster type thing for Reloaded, if I remember correctly. And this game is so much fun. It looks great. It plays great. There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody loves Gears of War, so pick it up today on your Steam Deck. Up next, we have the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remake. This game is absolutely fantastic if you loved the original Elder Scrolls 4, or if you really just like any of the Elder Scrolls, honestly, because this game looks and feels great on the Steam Deck, and honestly, it gives you that exploration that you love in Elder Scrolls games. And this storyline, to me anyways, is better than 5's, so like between this and Skyrim, I would actually say that this gets a slight nod, especially since it has those modern sensibilities now, since it's being remade. So I highly recommend this game instead of Skyrim if you are going to pick between the two. I absolutely love what they did here for the remake, and I suggest it to original Warhammer 40k Space Marine. This game recently got a remaster that makes the graphics look and feel better than they did in the old version, but even the older game still looks pretty good on the Steam Deck. And on top of that, you get blazing fast frame rates on this game, because obviously it's older, so the Steam Deck doesn't get, taxed or anything by it whenever it's playing it. So you get a great gameplay experience too, and the absolute brutal nature of this game, especially carrying this into Space Marine 2, it is unmatched, honestly. So pick this game up if you want just a brutal, fun action game on your Steam Deck. Alright, so up next we have BioShock The Collection, and this is a collection of 3 games that are absolutely fantastic on your Steam Deck and some of the best games of all time. I personally think BioShock 1 is one of the best games ever made with the Would You Kindly twist, and I love Infinite and the whole thing where you're in the sky and you can do the like gliding stuff that you do in that game. I love all of that, and then the plasmids that they do and how different it is throughout the 3 games is also amazing. I just love what BioShock does to intrigue you into the world and to really make you immersed. So if that sounds cool to you, pick these games up on your Steam Deck because they are absolutely epic. Now, Plague Tale Innocence is absolutely amazing, and this is the start of a phenomenal story that ends in Requiem that I highly recommend you go through. This is where you meet Amicia and Hugo for the first time, and you get to understand the macula a little bit before getting into Requiem, where it's unleashed to its fullest extent. So this is a must-play, especially if you're wanting to play both games, because to understand and know the characters, I feel you have to play Innocence first before Requiem. So definitely pick this up and pick up Requiem 2 while you're at it. So up next is Atomic Heart, and this is one of those fun, wacky, intense action games that you get to play that's very similar to BioShock, but has one of the funniest voiceovers in English I have ever heard, where you hear crispy critters for some reason every 5 minutes, and I absolutely love what this game does. I think that this is one of the more intriguing games. It's a very immersive world, especially if you play it in the native language and you just use subtitles instead of playing it in English. I think this game is a superb, immersive, fun BioShock clone if you do it that way. So pick this game up, and if you want to laugh, play it in English, and if you want to take it seriously, play it in Russian. There you go. Now here's one that I am really shocked works on Steam Deck, and that is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I knew the first one would work, but when I saw this game was working, I was like, oh my goodness, the Steam Deck is not outdated yet. This game has some of the most superb graphics you will ever see, and whenever they come down in a horde, I mean, I'm dead serious. They put like 40, 50, 60 of these things on screen at once, and you gotta fight them all, rip off their heads, and all this type of stuff, just particle effects going everywhere. It's so shocking that this works on the Steam Deck, but it does. You get about 30 FPS, and if you use lossless scaling, you get way more than that. So definitely pick this game up, because it's fun as crap to play, and somehow it works on deck. It's absolutely insane to me. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection is where they take Uncharted 4 and Uncharted The Lost Legacy and smash them together to give you an awesome package. These games look and play great on the Steam Deck, and one of them you play as Nathan Drake, of course, and the other one you play as Chloe, which is like a more spin-off title after Uncharted 4 came out. So if you want to play that type of game where you're like an adventurer, Indiana Jones type of thing, this is one of the best you can get. So pick this up on your Steam Deck. It looks and runs phenomenal. Up next is Trepang 2, and I gotta admit, this is one of my favorite indie games of all time. I actually love this game so much that I have a hard time explaining it, so let me try my best. This game is one of the most chaotic, intense action games I have ever played in my life. If you want to play a game where you can drop kick a guy, take out a shotgun, blow him in half, and then take out a grenade and throw it at the enemy behind him and watch him explode, then this is the game for you. If you want to blow up a building with your gun and just shoot everything and then watch it break and fall apart, this is the game for you. If you want to play a game where you get to immerse yourself in this world where you are a unstoppable badass with a gun, then this is the game for you, because this game does all of that at a very, very high level. I absolutely love Trepang, and I love the horror elements too. Like, if you miss Fear, like legitimately, if you miss the franchise Fear, this is a must play, because this game is modern day Fear with modern day gameplay and graphics and sensibilities. And I think you will absolutely love Trepang 2. So pick it up and check it out. And also, let's give a shout out to the soundtrack, because this thing is banging. So definitely let that play on like a YouTube on the side or something, so you can hear that soundtrack if you haven't bought the game yet, because you will love that too. Ys 10 Nordics is an absolutely awesome action RPG that puts you in the shoes of Adol as you get to go through another amazing story. Now, there's 10 of these games, and they all work great on Steam Deck. So if you want to see his story from the very beginning, you can go get the other ones too and pick those up and give them a try. But if you want to just pick up one that I think has really good gameplay and fun aesthetic and visuals and stuff like that, then I think you're going to really love Ys 10 Nordics. So go ahead and pick this up on your Steam Deck. It looks and plays great, so you will not regret it at all. Now, up next is, I don't even know if this is a remake or a new game or what, but Shinobi: The Art of Vengeance. This game is absolutely awesome and one of the best games you can play on the Steam Deck. It has side-scroller action like you wouldn't believe, and it has some of the best beat-em-up type combat that I have played in a very long time. It's a hack and slash, and I just absolutely love it. So, if you guys are into that type of thing and you missed the Shinobi series especially, pick up Shinobi: Art of Vengeance. I think you'll love it, and the aesthetic is amazing on Steam Deck OLED because it's just very colorful and really vibrant. So definitely pick this game up there too. Now, up next is for all my sports fans out there. I always like to try to find a sports game to put on these lists, so I'm going to put NBA 2K26 on this list. I think this is the best basketball game available right now, and if you want to play single player, I highly recommend it. I don't know if I would play online because there's a lot of cheaters on PC NBA 2K, I gotta be honest, so I may avoid that for now if I were you guys. But playing this game in single player, it has some of the better gameplay that I've seen in a sports, like, simulation title. So I think you guys will definitely love taking this one on the go, playing franchise and stuff like that with your favorite teams and your favorite players. So if that's what you want to do, definitely check out NBA 2K26. Now up next we have Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which comes to us from the awesome developers who brought us the Blasphemous series. So if you love those games, you're gonna love this. And this is a basically kind of like a retro version of Ninja Gaiden where it brings you back to the old days. And it's really fun, it's really good, and I quite enjoyed it. It's also a budget title that runs great on Steam Deck, so if you're looking for something cheap, fun, and really good on the deck, this is the perfect game for you right here, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Quantum Break is a awesome psychological type game that has a lot of really cool action elements, including slowing down time and bullet time and things of that nature that you get in games like Max Payne. I absolutely love these type of games, especially on a handheld like the Steam Deck, but I will warn you guys that if I remember correctly, last time I played this game, there was a issue where like the TV show part that has like the live action instances and stuff from it in the game that was supposed to follow like cutscenes and gameplay instances and stuff like that to like further out the story. I don't think those are in the game anymore, so there's certain things that may not make a lot of sense in this game because there was supposed to be like that TV show part and now that's gone. But the good news is you can find this stuff on YouTube, so if you really want to see it, you can, and I highly recommend, just for the gameplay alone, to play this game on your Steam Deck. So up next, we give you an amazing 3-for-1, and that is the Metro trilogy. These games are absolutely phenomenal, based on books. So if you really like, the books that these games are based on, you love those stories, and you want to see them brought to life, I think this game will absolutely do that for you. And these games have a lot of thriller elements, a lot of like psychological kind of horror elements, and on top of that, they are phenomenal first-person shooters with survival elements that make you think every single fight is intense because you could run out of bullets, you could run out of ammo, you could have all these issues where the enemies could kill you because you're just out of resources. So it's really interesting and fun to play, in my opinion, because in both Metro Redux and Exodus, these games have a just plethora of really fun weapons and really just cool aesthetics to them. And on top of that, everything, and I mean literally everything, including the environment, is out to kill you in these games. So if you guys really enjoy games that test your will and test everything about you as a gamer when it comes to how far you're willing to go in a survival horror type environment to see the story through, I think this game is absolutely made for you because this has some of the best graphics, some of the best voice acting, the characters will suck you in, the stories will suck you in, the trailers even that are live action and some are, they'll suck you in too to make you want to buy these games. So these have just a phenomenal world that I cannot recommend enough to all you guys. And on the Steam Deck, they run great. Just do not play the enhanced edition of Metro Exodus because that one runs absolutely atrocious and horrible on the Steam Deck. But if you play the original Metro Exodus, it runs and looks absolutely phenomenal on your deck and your OLED. And same with Metro Redux, which especially Last Light, where it has the better graphics from the first one to the next one. So you are just going to love these games. Please check them out. Now, up next is, in my opinion, the best Just Cause game, and that's Just Cause 3. This game has the maximum carnage, a really fun to play through story. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a great actual narrative, but it's just really fun to play through. Enrico Rodriguez in this game is an absolute savage, where you get the grappling hook, and you get the tether, where you can like tether like two explosives together and smash them together on enemies and blow everything up. It's really cool. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this game if you like to just blow shit up and have a good time. Definitely check out Just Cause 3 on your Steam Deck. Up next is the awesome action simulator, which is Max Payne 3, baby. This game is amazing, and it has some of the most over-the-top, thrilling, insane gameplay that you will ever play in your life, with the awesome bullet time mechanics, where you can dive backwards behind the couch and pew 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 up into the stands in slow motion and watch the bullets go straight to your enemies, so you know you hit your target and stuff like that. And on top of all of that, this game has a really good story. So if you want a great story with amazing gameplay, you have to look no further than Max Payne 3, because this game does it all, and it does it all at a very high level. So if you love games like this and you want to play Max Payne 3, please give it a try. It runs and looks great on the Steam Deck. So up next is the awesome action game, which is Hell Is Us, and I gotta be honest, this game is testing the waters of if you can actually trust the Steam verification system, because this game is a 30 to 40 FPS game for the most part, and for some reason it is unsupported. I've played games that actually run worse that are verified than this game at an unsupported rate. So I don't understand exactly what Valve is doing there. They need to kind of figure that out. But other than that, this game is really fun if you enjoy hardcore, intense, just really difficult action games. I would say this is like a borderline Souls-like. So if you're into that type of game, I think you'll really like Hell Is Us. But this is a game that you're going to see unsupported, and it's going to kind of scare you away a little bit, but don't let it. You can definitely tweak some settings and add some lossless scaling too if you want on top of that to get this game at a very good runnable, playable frame rate. So just know that going in. Now, up next is Hogwarts Legacy, and I gotta be real with you guys, if you're a Harry Potter fan, go buy this right now. What I say from this point on should not matter, just go buy it. This is the best Harry Potter game ever made, go get it. But if you're not convinced, let me tell you about the amazing performance on the Steam Deck, which is a smooth 30 plus FPS, and you can get up to 60 if you use things like FSR and lossless scaling. And this game is verified, and this actually proves that sometimes the verification system can be right, because this is a phenomenal experience on the Steam Deck. This game has a great storyline as well, so if you guys enjoy the Harry Potter type stuff that you get to watch in the movies, definitely check this game out, because you're going to love it on your Steam Deck. So up next, we have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Yes, I love the Yakuza franchise, if you can't tell yet, but this game is absolutely awesome. This has the new style of like the RPG type combat, which I will say, I don't like that combat as much as the old school Yakuza where it was a beat 'em up. I prefer the beat 'em up style. But I'd be lying if I said this wasn't a absolutely awesome, epic, amazing RPG that you can play through with the story that is absolutely epic. That starts out really slow. I'll warn you on that too. So if you guys are bad with slow starting games, you may not like the way this one begins, I'm going to be honest. But playing this through to the conclusion is so worth it, because this game is fun, it's action-packed, it's goofy, and it really doesn't take itself seriously, and it is a great time to play. So check this out on your Steam Deck. I think you'll enjoy it. The Chief Collection, and this is one of the best multiplayer and campaign-driven type games you can have on this system, period. You have 6 of some of the best campaigns ever written, with Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, ODST, and Reach, all right here in one package on your Steam Deck. And then you have all the multiplayer maps, modes, horde modes, whatever you want from those games also on your Steam Deck. So that alone should be enough to convince you that this is the ultimate game to buy for Steam Deck, because you can get it for cheap, it's playable, it has an absolutely phenomenal amount of content. Like, this is probably the most content rich game you can buy, period, on Steam. It's up there. So definitely buy Halo the Master Chief Collection for your Steam Deck. You will not. Baldur's Gate 3 is up next, and this is one of the best RPGs ever made, where your choices matter and everything you do can change the world around you. And I love that about this game. It has a phenomenal storyline, because it's really a storyline driven by the player, which I love. It's very Dungeons and Dragons-y, which is awesome if you love that type of thing. And I gotta be honest too, this game does have some minor performance hiccups, but I will say lossless scaling does kind of come to the rescue if you have that on your Steam Deck, where you can put it in during the city sections and things like that, where the game doesn't run that good, and get it to a playable frame rate. So this game is definitely worth playing on your Steam Deck, and I highly recommend it to anyone. It won Game of the Year for a reason, guys. This game is dang near flawless. It does a lot of things at a phenomenal level, so definitely check out Baldur's Gate 3. Next, we have Midnight Fight Express, which is one of my favorite beat-em-up indie games of all time. This is just a rare, fun, just insane action game where you get to beat up everyone with any weapon of choice. The environment, you can shoot guns in this game. There's fun bosses. The level structure is also phenomenal, so it kind of plays into the fact that you can use the environment to just beat the crap out of everybody around you. So if that sounds like fun to you, to play a game where you are just, once again, an unstoppable force that can just beat the crap out of anything in front of you, that has a lot of high score stuff. There's a lot of stuff tied to high scores with leaderboards and things of that nature too, so it makes you want to go back and play and get better high scores and get higher on the leaderboards so that you can have bragging rights against other people that are playing Midnight Fight Express. And on top of that, the higher rank you get means the more weapons and fun stuff you got to use in the environment to beat up your enemies. So I definitely recommend Midnight Fight Express to everybody who wants just a fun, simple, amazing, and really cool action game that has an interesting story too, because the whole thing is basically you being interrogated and you get to relive the interrogations through levels. It's really cool, so definitely check this one out. Hollow Knight 1 has some of the best gameplay and movement ever in a Metroidvania, and I mean ever. Like, that's one of the GOATs in terms of Metroidvanias. So when you are going to make a sequel to that, I expect it to be a lot better. And let me tell you guys, right now, this is better. This game is more precise, it's faster, it has more nimble movement, it has the abilities that help you do this movement so you're able to stay agile and be able to do what you need to do even in the hardest sections of the game. And also the abilities are really cool, like a running buzzsaw, hiring companions, all that type of stuff. It is here in Hollow Knight Silksong. So this game has a bunch of bosses, a whole bevy of them. You have like over 40 legendary bosses that you have to go through and fight in this game. There's a lot of content here. You could spend a lot of hours in this game just running around having a good time fighting the bosses and 100%ing the whole thing. You really could. And to me, this game nails exploration, which is the number one thing that a Metroidvania has to be elite at. If you want to explore the world, if the world carries you and brings you in and gets you excited, then that is a great world for a Metroidvania, because the whole point of these games is to find skills, go on different paths, explore the world, and you're supposed to want to uncover the whole entire map. That is what every single Metroid game has ever done. That is what all the great Metroidvania copy-pastes of Metroid have ever done. And I am happy to report that is exactly what Hollow Knight Silksong has done. This is a world that is not only beautiful, handcrafted, and looks absolutely gorgeous, like a Picasso painting that you never want to sell type thing here, but on top of that, this is a world that when you see it, you just want to run into it and you don't want to leave. There's so many cool things here, and I've never been so immersed and so into a world that has zero voice acting or any of that at all. They found a way to tell a pretty cool, compelling story without saying a single word. You have to read everything, and then they have these little gibberish sounds coming out of the characters' mouths and stuff. But it is super interesting stuff, and it'll draw you in. It'll immerse you. This is one of the best Metroidvanias I've played in years in terms of all of this stuff, especially the exploration. Like, I want to emphasize that for all of you that are listening to this review. Exploration in Metroidvanias is the number one thing you have to nail. And Team Cherry has nailed it here. When they say this game was trapped in development heaven, I see it when I play Hollow Knight Silksong. I see the passion, I see the love, I see everything that they wanted you to see with this game. It looks good, it plays immaculate, and the gameplay itself is almost unbeatable by any other game in its genre. I absolutely love what we got here. And on top of all that, let's talk about the beautiful soundtrack, because I think Hollow Knight Silksong has one of the best soundtracks in a Metroidvania ever. Each moment has a brand new song that plays. You have an intense song for a boss, you have a calm song for exploration, you have an intense song for intense exploration when you're having to do parkour to get out of the way of obstacles and things of this nature. The way that this game uses music to push you into doing things that otherwise you would be somewhat uncomfortable doing, that is amazing. This game uses music to push the tone, to push everything that it's trying to do. If the game wants you to be calm, you get a beautiful song. If the game wants you to be upbeat and ready to go to war, you get an intense song. And I love when games can just absolutely use music and gameplay and marry them together and give you an absolute masterpiece across the board with that. That is what Hollow Knight Silksong has done. This game, let me tell you guys, I can't think of really anything that I didn't like. This game has some of the best exploration I've ever seen in a Metroidvania. It has some of the absolute best characters that I've seen in a while in a Metroidvania. I know they're not voice casted or any of that, but trust me, you have to play the game to understand, but you will love the characters. And then on top of all of that, the combat and all of that is immaculate. The boss fights are so fun in this game that I don't want to spoil anything. This is a spoiler-free review. But man, Hollow Knight Silksong just absolutely nails everything that I love about a Metroidvania. Up next on this, we have Vampire Survivors, and this game is amazing. This is one of those games where you have to level up your character to be able to get power-ups throughout the levels and the runs that you do so that you can continue to get more powerful and stronger to be able to go higher up against more enemies and more fiends and stuff of that nature. And these games are insanely addicting because the stronger you get, the further you get, and the more enemies that come after you and all that type of stuff. So if you really love games that are addictive, that are fun, that are snappy, and that give you that sense of progression, I think that you will absolutely love Vampire Survivors. This game runs great on deck too, as you would expect. It's a pixelated game, so be sure to pick this one up on your Steam Deck. Up next is one of my personal favorite remasters of the last decade, and that's Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. Now this game is absolutely phenomenal on Steam Deck with a playable rating. The frame rate is really good in this game. It's just playable because some of the things with text and whatnot are hard to read. And this game is so much fun. It's an action RPG where you level up your characters, kind of like Skyrim if Skyrim was in third person. I guess that's the best way I can describe this game in a short, meaningful way. And this game has really cool bosses, an interesting story as well. Like, it's not the best story you'll ever play, but it's definitely interesting and will keep you locked in for the whole experience. So I highly recommend Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning to all of you who want just a really fun, cheap action RPG on your Steam Deck, because this game goes on sale all the time and I think you'll really enjoy it. And up next we have one of my favorite mind-bending games in Control. Now this is an action game set in the oldest house, which is like this place where a bunch of supernatural happenings and things like that happen throughout the whole entire game. You get to see a bunch of phenomenon and all that type of stuff that you have to combat with your abilities, and you do have superpowers as you become the leader of the oldest house. And this game is really cool. It's one of the most unique experiences I have played in years. I cannot recommend it enough. Remedy, you knocked it out of the park again. And on top of that, this game is a masterpiece on the Steam Deck. Runs absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, with the OLED screen especially, this game just pops off the screen as it has an art style like nothing you've ever seen before, where it blends like that realistic graphic type feel with a very supernatural, eerie, ghosty type feel. So they put those two together to make one of the most unique artistic games ever made, and I cannot recommend it enough on Steam Deck, so be sure to check it out. Up next is one of my favorite indie games that you can get on the Steam Deck, and that's Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I think this game is an absolutely phenomenal blend of what you do in actual Deep Rock Galactic and what you do in Survivor games. Now, we've had some other Survivor games on this list, so it's essentially very similar to that, where you have to basically fight off hordes, level up, get power-ups, things of that nature, and you're in the Deep Rock Galactic universe. So if you like that universe and you thought that what they did in the original game was really cool, I highly recommend this, because this is a game that you can get addicted to, that you can also use the sleep and resume feature pretty well on the Steam Deck, because this is a game designed for you to be able to play it for an hour, pause the game, put the thing to sleep, and then come back and do it again a little bit later. So I highly recommend this. The art style pops and everything just feels amazing when you're playing this game. It runs and looks great on the Steam Deck. And up next, we have one of my personal favorite Sony games, and I had to put it on this list, man, and that is Days Gone. This game does not get enough love, and I'm gonna be real, the absolute insane story that you get here with all the cool plot twists and things of that nature, and then on top of all that, the interesting zombie designs. Now, I'm sick and tired of people saying that this game is very generic and formulaic and all that type of stuff, because it isn't. You have to repair your bike. You have to go through this open world with these freakers, as they call them, where they're basically a gigantic horde of super aggressive zombies. Where, when I say gigantic horde, I mean it. You can literally be chased by hundreds of these things at once if you're not careful. So be careful when you're going through those parts of the map because it's really hard. They made it really challenging. They made the zombies super powerful and honestly kind of intimidating. So if you love zombie games and you want one that has an absolutely fantastic, epic storyline, I think that you are going to absolutely love Days Gone. And it runs and looks great on the Steam Deck as well. I believe this game is verified. So if you guys want just a really amazing zombie game that you can play on the go, definitely pick up Days Gone on your Steam Deck. Now, up next, we have one of the best horror thriller type games ever made, which is Alan Wake. Now, in this game, you play as a writer named Alan Wake, of course, and you go through the whole entire storyline, basically writing your own horror story and trying to write yourself out of it. Every time Alan Wake writes anything, it comes to life in this game, which I thought was a really cool story beat. And on top of that, this game has really cool like light darkness gameplay where you have to shine a flashlight on your enemies to make the darkness get off of them so that you can kill them effectively and stuff like that. I thought that that was a really cool mechanic and I really enjoyed it. But just the overall feel that this game brings, it's eerie, it's scary, it's dark. It's really cool and it's really fun to play through if you're into horror. If you're not, maybe stay away because it may not be for you. But this game runs and looks great on the Steam Deck, so I can't recommend it enough. Next, we have Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. Now, if you love mech games, this is going to be right up your alley because you get to upgrade your mech, you get to fight other mechs and things of that nature. And on top of that, there is some online component stuff, so if you want to play with online on this game, you can. And yeah, the storyline is very mediocre. I will say that. So if you're playing this for the story, definitely stay away. But if you want fun mech gameplay, I think Daemon X Machina will give it to you because I'm really enjoying this game on both my Steam Deck and my Switch too. I think it runs great and looks great on both. And this game is really fun to play if you want to just focus on gameplay and not as much story. So I highly recommend this game to every single person who wants to play a fun, brutal mech game because I will warn you guys, this game is also insanely hard. And sometimes it feels like it's like unbalanced hard, like it's unnecessary levels of difficulty. So be warned with that too. And yeah, so if you enjoy these types of games, pick up Daemon X Machina. If not, then I wouldn't pick this one up because I don't think this is going to change your mind necessarily on mech games. So if you already aren't a fan, this game isn't going to make you like have the light switch turn on type deal where you're going to enjoy them all of a sudden. But if you love them, buy it on Steam.
Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. And if you guys love FromSoft and you love mech games, this is the perfect game for you. It gives you that FromSoft difficulty. It gives you all the fun customizations that mech games give you on a constant basis. And it gives you just absolutely everything that you would want from this type of game. Intense action, fun set pieces, and really cool environmental storytelling that you get from most FromSoft games. This game has it all. So if you're a fan of FromSoft and you really enjoy just intense combat, really difficult gameplay, and when I say really difficult, I mean really difficult. This is a really difficult, hard game. Then Armored Core 6 is going to satiate every single need you have for gaming in general. This game is one of the most underrated FromSoft games you can play, and I highly recommend it. You can also find this game constantly on sale at the big Steam sales, and this one is Steam Deck verified, so you know for sure that it's going to work great, look great, and feel great in your hands whenever you're playing this on the Steam Deck. And by the way, this game on the OLED is immaculate and beautiful, so if you guys really love fun, beautiful, intense action games, definitely try Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Up next is Bug Fables: The Everlasting Sapling, and this game is a really good, underrated indie title
title that won't take up a lot of space and will also look and play great on your Steam Deck and Steam Deck OLED. So this game is basically where you play as 3 bugs, V a bee, Kaboo a beetle, and Leaf a moth, and they have all different types of attacks and things of that nature. And the exploration involves platforming style elements, so if you enjoy platforming elements and stuff like that in your game, I think you're really going to like this one. And the battles have action commands, pressing the button at the right time to enhance attacks to reduce damage. So think of something like kind of like an Expedition 33, where like you have to press the button prompt on the screen at the right time for it to actually do its maximum damage. And there are roughly 7 chapters in the storyline, so you're going to get a lot of really cool gameplay moments here. You got 30 plus side quests and optional bosses, around 15 of those. So if you enjoy this type of game, then I highly recommend Bug Fables, because I think it gives you a lot of gameplay that you can really just enjoy and sink your teeth into, and it'll run and look great on your Steam Deck while also taking up a very minimal amount of space. So if you're one of those guys that likes to have multiple games installed, this is a game that you can install with a bunch of bigger games, and it won't take up too much space to completely destroy your SSD. So I highly recommend you try out Bug Fables: The Everlasting Sapling if you haven't already. Up next, we have Octopath Traveler 2. Now this is a game that is absolutely phenomenal in every single way. It is a turn-based 2D HD RPG from Square Enix that gives you a great storyline, really phenomenal characters, a really cool world to explore, and on top of all of that, it gives you a bunch of like choices and stuff that you can make that allows the game to form around you and allows you to get multiple different endings with multiple different characters, hence the name Octopath Traveler. I think the game has about 8 to 10 endings or something like that, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of gameplay here. You can put hundreds of hours in Octopath if you really wanted to just get in the nitty-gritty, level up your characters, and enjoy every single second of this game. And on top of that, with the 2D HD art style, this game looks absolutely beautiful on the Steam Deck OLED. The colors pop, everything just looks phenomenal on it. So I highly recommend this more if you have a Steam Deck OLED than the actual just normal Steam Deck, because of how good the graphics look when it comes to that. But this game performs, looks, and is just overall amazing on the Steam Deck. So if you haven't played Octopath Traveler 2 yet, please give this one a go. It is awesome. So up next, we have Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. Now, this game is absolutely phenomenal. They did change the combat style, where it goes from a much more action-based brawler type of game to a turn-based RPG. But this game is still phenomenal, with a great story, great new cast of characters that also blends and combines with the old cast. So if you like the old cast, they're still here a little bit. But having Ichiban is really good, because this man is a kick-ass character that I think all of you are going to love to play as if you haven't experienced this game yet. And not to mention, this game runs, performs, looks, and just feels phenomenal on the Steam Deck. It's almost like this game was tailor-made for the Steam Deck. That's how good it looks and feels. So if you want a great RPG that you can sink your teeth into for hundreds of hours, play with amazing characters, and just get that Yakuza feel, but also be able to play it at the best frame rates possible on a handheld, I believe that Yakuza 7 is one of your better options, because this game has great performance, great visuals, and a phenomenal storyline that'll carry you from beginning to end. And I just love this game with all my heart. So if you haven't tried Yakuza 7 yet, go ahead and give it a go. So up next, we have the indie darling Chained Echoes. This is another great turn-based RPG with a pixelated art style that pops off the screen on a Steam Deck OLED. So I highly recommend this game to anybody who just really wants to sink their teeth into another long, fun JRPG type of game that has beautiful visuals, that is unique because it's done by a small indie team that really just cares about this type of thing. So I hope you guys play this game. It takes up very little storage, so you're going to enjoy that part of it too. Just go check out Chained Echoes now. This is one of the best RPGs in years. Up next, we have one of my personal favorite RPGs, and that's Tales of Arise. This game has a fantastic storyline with really fun gameplay, with graphics that are so visually beautiful. It has like that anime aesthetic type of thing going, but it's just so bright, vibrant, colorful, and just amazing to look at on a Steam Deck OLED that I recommend this 100% to everyone who has an OLED deck. And for everybody who wants a well-performing RPG with a great story, fun turn-based action-type gameplay, this is cool. Like, this gameplay, the best way I can describe it is think about Final Fantasy VII, like the remakes. That is what this game's gameplay kind of reminds me of. It's not quite as good as that, but it definitely, reflects that a little bit. So
If you enjoy that type of gameplay and you want a great story with a beautiful anime aesthetic, Tales of Arise is the game for you, so go check it out. Now up next is one of the hardest games on this list, and that's Dark Souls 3. This game is insanely hard with crazy cool bosses to fight, lots of them too. This is a FromSoft game through and through, as you guys know, so you get a bunch of cool bosses, a bunch of mini bosses, and they all want to kick your butt. That's the whole point of playing these games, is to get good and feel like you are progressing in every single way when you play. This game does that with great gear, great loot, and all these things that just FromSoft just knows how to excel at. So if you love games that challenge you, give you great rewards when you win, and makes you just feel so special when you finally kick a boss's butt and send him back to where he came, definitely try out Dark Souls 3. Now, up next we have Sea of Stars, which is another great indie RPG, and I can't recommend this one enough either, because much like Chained Echoes, the visuals pop off the screen, and this is another fantastic, like, old school Final Fantasy inspired turn-based RPG that I feel everybody needs to play. Now I will say this: if you're going to play Chained Echoes, I don't know if you need Sea of Stars and Chained Echoes. They're both great games. They're both great choices, but they're very similar to each other. So I would say between those two, pick one or the other. But this game is very fun and has a really good rewarding system in terms of progression and stuff like that through the combat. So if you want another game like Chained Echoes, this is the one. Pick up Sea of Stars. Now up next is a little bit of a controversial one, I know, and that is Assassin's Creed Shadows. But I think this is a really fun RPG. If you want to explore old school feudal Japan as an assassin, I think you're going to love this game a lot. The visuals pop off the screen. The performance is a little shaky at times, but it is around that 30 to 40 FPS, and you can definitely adjust your settings and do like lossless scaling and things of that nature to make this game run really good on here. But just be warned, if you want to just play the vanilla experience with no extra stuff like DLSS, FSR, any of that, then you're probably going to be around that 30 FPS mark, which isn't great. But this game is verified, and there are so many ways you can adjust this game to make it run phenomenally. So I highly recommend this game on Steam Deck, because I played this game through on the Steam Deck all 50 hours, and I loved every second of it for the most part. So definitely check out Assassin's Creed Shadows. So up next we have Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, and this game gives you the amazing gameplay of the Final Fantasy VII remakes in the best ways possible, with the story of Zack that we got on Crisis Core, the original, back on the PSP. So if you love Crisis Core, like the original one back on the PSP, I highly recommend you play this, especially if you're a big fan of Remake, because the gameplay is exactly the same. Like, exactly the same. It's just the story from Crisis Core instead of the story from, like, the original Final Fantasy VII, which is what the other remakes are doing. So I highly recommend you check this game out on Steam Deck. Up next, we have the underrated Souls-like, and that is Lies of P. Now, if you guys have been watching this channel for a little while, you know JP is a massive fan of Lies of P. And this game right here is amazing on Steam Deck, especially Steam Deck OLED. It runs great, it looks great, it has the verified check marks. You can know with at least a little bit of certainty that this game will at least run if you do some adjustments. And on top of that, this game has really fun, interesting villains and stuff to fight that are really difficult too. They give you that FromSoft feel. So if you like that type of thing, Lies of P has you covered 100%. This is basically a FromSoft game if you had a really cool aesthetic and a really cool setting that I don't really know FromSoft themselves would really touch. So this is a very unique game that you're going to love to play a lot. So I highly recommend Lies of P on the Steam Deck. So up next, we have, in my opinion, the best FF7 remake game made to date, and that is Rebirth. Now, this is the second game of the mainline trilogy. There are technically the 3 games with the Crisis Core that we just recently talked about, but this game is by far the best. It takes that gameplay style and refines it and just makes it perfect. And on top of that, you get about 30 to 40 FPS on this game on Steam Deck. So if you use lossless scaling, of course, you can knock that thing up to about 60 frames per second, which is absolutely phenomenal in this game. And this game visually, my goodness, if you have a Steam Deck OLED, that thing pops right off the screen. So you're going to absolutely love looking at this game on your Steam Deck because it is graphically pleasing. So I got to admit, this is one of the best RPGs in general on Steam Deck, period. You're going to love this thing, and it's by far the best of the FF7 remake games so far, and I highly recommend you play this one on your Steam Deck. All right, so up next, we have a very taxing but very fun and enjoyable game that runs pretty good on the Steam Deck for the most part nowadays, and that is Elden Ring. That's right, the Game of the Year winner about 3 years ago, that has phenomenal bosses, one of the best, like, worlds you can explore and environments, and a hidden story written by George R.R. Martin that'll make your mouth drop if you go out and look for every single piece of it, and it'll just immerse you into this world and make you love what you play through in Elden Ring. This game is so good that you want to go back to the lands between all the time. So everybody watching this video probably already owns or at least knows what Elden Ring is, so I'm not going to waste your time too much explaining it. But the bosses are phenomenal. Every single place you go in this game is beautiful. So if you want a game that'll kick your butt, it's hard, just like every other FromSoft game, of course, but has beautiful environments, great environmental storytelling, and just one of the most fun gameplay systems I've ever played in a game, period, definitely try Elden Ring on your Steam Deck. Up next, we have Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, the game that started it all. This game is so fun. Like, when this game came out, I knew that they were establishing something that was going to be absolutely epic for this remake trilogy that they're planning on making, and I absolutely love everything here. The storyline, the characters, everything from the iconic original is right here in FF7, and the way that they tweak the gameplay to make it have an action style but also not forget the roots of Final Fantasy VII, the original, was absolutely beautiful to me, and it carried over and innovated itself all the way through to Rebirth, and I think that that is why people love these games. It's great for newcomers, and it's really good for people that love the original FF7 as well. So Final Fantasy VII Remake to me is one of the best games you can play, period. This whole entire like trilogy or whatever they want to call it, including Crisis Core, is just absolutely epic and phenomenal, and I can't recommend this enough. These games look great on the Steam Deck OLED screen too, especially with the 1000 nits and all that. So 100% play all of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Any game that has Final Fantasy VII Remake on it that is known to be working on Steam Deck, just play them. They look great and they feel great to play, and they're just some of the best RPGs you can get right now in the current day. Now, last but not least on this list is my favorite RPG of all time, Cyberpunk 2077. This beautiful game with amazing visuals and absolutely intense, epic, and for me anyways, addicting gameplay. Right here where you play in the future, you play as V, you get to customize your character. I can't say enough about this game, man. This is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. I get fully immersed. I really enjoy it every single time I turn it on. I've played it on PC, Switch 2, Steam Deck, you name it, I've played it there, and I can vouch that this game runs, looks, and feels great on the Steam Deck. So if you guys want to play one of the best RPGs ever made, do yourself a favor and pick up Cyberpunk 2077. So up first, we have God of War Ragnarok, which is an absolutely epic blockbuster action game where you play as Kratos from Sony in Norse mythology. This is a reboot of the original games, which was originally set in Greece. But these games are absolutely fantastic. If you love that Sony style of third-person over-the-shoulder action-adventure games with phenomenal stories and great graphics, this is the game for you. And this game also runs at a smooth, crispy 30 to 40 FPS with little to no issues on the Steam Deck. This game is also verified on Steam Deck, so if you're worried about things not working correctly, worry no more. So up next is Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, this game runs phenomenally on Steam Deck. In fact, it's another Sony game that is Steam Deck verified. This game is really good. If you've played the first two, which was Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remastered on PC, they also had phenomenal ports and looked great and truly made you feel like Spider-Man, which is really what makes these games absolutely amazing. Next on this list, we have Assassin's Creed the Ezio Collection, and this is 3 classic games put into one package with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, and Assassin's Creed 2. This is where the Assassin's Creed series really took off and took mainstream fame back in 2009 whenever Assassin's Creed 2 released. These games are absolutely phenomenal if you enjoy the old style of AC where you get to run around and be an assassin without really having to worry about levels or any of that stuff. So if you like those type of games, you'll probably enjoy this one. List, we have the Rip and Tear Simulator Doom Eternal. Now, if you enjoy intense FPS action with really interesting enemy designs and fun things to fight and really cool guns to use, then I think Doom Eternal is one of the best games on the map for you right now. Now, this game is basically just a single player game, so if you're looking for multiplayer, there is multiplayer, but it's not that great. So if you're buying this, you're buying it for the campaign. So just know that before you get the game. But this is Steam Deck verified. This game runs butterly smooth, 60 plus frames per second on most settings. This game is a phenomenal experience on Steam Deck, and I highly recommend it to all of you. Up next, we have Marvel Spider-Man, the original game, the remastered version from PlayStation on the Steam Deck, which this game runs honestly better than Spider-Man 2. They both run great, but this is the definitive Spider-Man game if you ask me. Phenomenal story, great voice acting. You don't have those terrible Mary Jane missions from Marvel Spider-Man 2. You still have Mary Jane missions, but they're nowhere near as bad in this game, in my opinion, as they are in the sequel. And you also have just really cool moments that are in this game exclusively with certain villains that you just don't have in 2. And I just overall prefer this game. So if you want a game that looks better and runs better on the Steam Deck and you want to play a Spider-Man game, I would actually suggest this one over 2. So up next is A Plague Tale Requiem, and this game, let me tell you, this game has a storyline that'll break your heart, make you feel triumphant, and all these other things all at the same time. So if you love a good story, this is a must play. This game is also Steam Deck verified, so it's another one that's been updated and optimized to run on the Steam Deck perfectly. So if that's what you're looking for, you want a game that you know for sure is going to work well on every single way with the Steam Deck, you need to buy A Plague Tale Requiem because this is one of the best story-driven games ever made. Up next on this list is Helldivers 2, and this game is insanely good if you have a bunch of friends that want to play online and just mess around in a really fun co-op shooter. Now, one thing that is funny about this game is it has friendly fire, so if you mess up at all, you can take out your teammates on accident, so that is definitely something that you can do some trolling or something with if that's the type of player you are. But this game runs and looks great on Steam Deck, and it's honestly shocking because there's so many particle effects and things going everywhere all the time. But this game has a playable rating on Steam, and it definitely deserves it. It's really fun to play, and I suggest it to everybody who likes co-op shooters to play with friends. Now, up next, we have Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, this game is an absolute stunning masterpiece when it comes to being a Metroidvania platformer. Really sad story, too, by the way, with some really triumphant moments as well. It's really underrated in that department, and the graphics are absolutely gorgeous, especially if you have something like an OLED screen that can like pop the colors in this game, because this game is absolutely gorgeous whenever it comes to the art style and the color just discrepancies that they have on the screen. There's so many things going on in Ori that this is one of the most gorgeous games ever made, and I cannot recommend it enough, especially to Steam Deck OLED users. Now up next is the even more gorgeous sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now if you thought the other game was gorgeous, then this one completely blows that one out of the water in almost every single way graphically. It looks gorgeous. The art style is even more unique somehow, and in this game, I don't know if the Blind Forest did, but I know for sure in Will of the Wisp, they actually had multiple different artists make each different part of the game, so every part stands out and every part pops with different colors and different ways. So again, Steam Deck OLED users, this is a massive one for you. You need the Ori franchise if you have an OLED screen, because these colors are really going to pop, and this game's going to look even better than what it would on like a console, unless you have like an OLED TV for your console. But this game, I'm telling you, looks and plays phenomenal on the Steam Deck. Now up next, we have Forza Horizon 5, and if you love yourself a good racing game in an open world environment where you can race wherever you want, on the streets, on the track, in the desert, doesn't matter. You can pick where you want and how you want to race and what car you're racing in and at what speeds. Forza Horizon 5 is the game for you. This game also has stunning visuals, especially on the Steam Deck. Runs butterly smooth. Like, this is one of the best optimized games that I think I've ever played in my entire life. I absolutely love Forza Horizon 5, especially whenever you are playing through like one of the more beautiful environments. It really pops and goes crazy. So I'd highly recommend this game to all Steam Deck users, especially OLED again. So up next, we have the action-packed smash hit blockbuster and Vanquish. Now, this is a game that gives you a bunch of really cool guns, a cool ability to slide really fast speeds with the little jetpacks you have in your legs that allow you to slide, maneuver, and move as fast as lightning. And also the fact that this game is so fast-paced, so energetic, and has a really good story to boot. It's really fun to play on Steam Deck because this game gets 60 plus frames per second because it is a little bit on the older side. This is a remastered version, so the graphics look phenomenal anyways. But the point still stands that this is an older game, so of course it's going to run significantly better on Steam Deck than one of the newer titles on this list. So this is one I highly recommend because it's so fun, it works great, and everything about this game just oozes blockbuster action fun that you would go to a movie to see that you can enjoy in a video game. So up next is Hades, and this game is a really fun roguelike that is absolutely perfect for the Steam Deck because you can use the sleep and resume features for this game to perfection, where you can literally pause your run, put the thing in sleep, and then pick up where you left off later on, which is one of the best features of the Steam Deck that the Windows handhelds do not have. So this game is a must-have, must-own, especially on the Steam Deck OLED, where the colors pop, because as you can see, the art style is absolutely fantastic in this game. So you want to have those colors popping. So definitely pick this game up on your Steam Deck. It's also not that expensive, so keep an eye out for sale. Up next is Saga Frontier 2 Remastered. Now this looks like a very cool old school RPG coming back to modern times. So if you want to have a really cool old school JRPG that you can just play on the go and use the sleep features and all that to enjoy with updated visuals and things of that nature, I think Saga Frontier 2 Remastered is actually an interesting buy for you because it looks like a pretty cool game and it still uses that old school aesthetic even though it's coming to the modern age and giving you that modern gameplay. So try this game out if that seems like it's for you. Now, up next is the new anime Souls-like, The First Berserker Kazan. Now this is a intense, hardcore, hard as nails action game, but there is one cool thing about it. You can adjust the difficulty. So if the game's too hard for you, you can actually make the game a little bit easier and more approachable for you to play. And having something like that, especially on the Steam Deck where you can take it on the go and use all the features of the Steam Deck to truly enjoy it, especially since this is an anime type aesthetic game that has a lot of popping colors and really cool visual art styles that you see on the screen right now. This is a game that I think is a must own on Steam Deck because it only runs at about 30 to 40 FPS, so if that's too low for you, then fine, but at this point with the Steam Deck and Steam Deck OLED, I think this is expected performance, and this is really good for what you're getting from this game. And this game is really fun to play because it's basically like a FromSoft game, but it's very anime. So if you enjoy that type of stuff, then go ahead and pick up The First Berserker Kazan. Alright, so next up on this list is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Now, we're going to be doing more lists in the future. This is the last game on this particular list, but this game is absolutely fantastic. It's an instant classic. It's been out for 15 years. I don't think I have to really say too much about it, but if you love open world Bethesda games and you love medieval times, I think Skyrim is definitely a game for you to play and enjoy. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I look forward to doing more with even more great games to tell you on Steam Deck. But Skyrim is absolutely phenomenal, and I think you should try it out on deck. First up on this list from the amazing creators that brought you Undertale is Deltarune. Now the reason I'm putting this game on here is because chapters 3 and 4 just recently released, and this game is absolutely stunning. From the gameplay, which is a high octane, intense, fun game where you're able to have 2D boss fights, you have the choices, all the stuff that you remember from Undertale and the original chapters of Deltarune are all here. They just added more and gave you amazing content that you can sink your teeth into and enjoy in both handheld mode, on your PC, on your console, whatever it may be that you want to play it on. This game is absolutely amazing, and the storyline is very underrated. Now, I know you guys are probably seeing the graphics and thinking that they're heavily pixelated. They are, but this game has such an art style that it's very gorgeous and jumps off the screen. So I love Deltarune, and I think that all of you should try it out if you haven't already. So be sure to check this one out as soon as you can. Now, up next on this list is Citizen Sleeper 2, and this is a dice-driven RPG in a human and heartfelt sci-fi world. You are an escaped android with a malfunctioning body, a price on your head, and no memory of your past. Get a ship, find a crew, and take on contracts while you navigate across the Starward Belt. Now, this game is really cool because it's story-rich. You get to really bond with your cast of characters and things that you find throughout the game. And it's also got a very interesting art style, which that's something with these indie games that you're going to notice me saying a lot, is that there is a very great art style in a lot of these games. And on top of that, I just love the cyberpunk aesthetic and the management gameplay and the dice rolls that you get and the just RPG elements that I feel this game nails perfectly. So, if you want to play an awesome game in a cyberpunk sci-fi type setting that gives you a bunch of management options, a bunch of really cool characters, and on top of that, really interesting gameplay loops, I think you're going to absolutely love Citizen Sleeper 2 on any device you can play it on. Now, up next, we have R.E.P.O. This is a game that completely took over the indie scene whenever it dropped not too long ago, and this game is really fun. This is a phenomenal co-op game that you and a bunch of buddies can go play, which is also an online co-op horror game with up to 6 players, so you can play with 6 people, and it's really fun because you get to locate valuable, fully physics-based objects, so the comedy and all that type of stuff that you get from this game is off the frickin' charts, and handle them with care as you retrieve and extract to satisfy your creator's desires. Now, this is why it is a horror game, because you have these things that are chasing you as you're trying to do these objects. So you'll see like a bunch of streamers and stuff have all these funny videos of them getting caught and freaking out and whatnot. So I highly recommend this game if you have friends. I don't know if I would play this as a solo experience, but if you have a bunch of friends that want to play a really fun horror game with you, I think R.E.P.O. is absolutely fantastic, and all of you should try it out on your PC because this game is immaculate, really funny, and really fun, and at the same time, also very cheap. Now, up next, we have a very cool, unique platformer in Ruffy and the Riverside. This game is absolutely fantastic because it allows you to take control of the levels in any way that you see fit and allows you to enjoy yourself in this 3D platforming world. Now, I've seen so many cool gameplay clips and stuff from this on top of what I've actually been able to do myself in the game, and there's just so much fun to be had here. This game also has a really cool art style, which is kind of like this, I don't even know what to call it, like a cartoon paper mache type thing where it's a 3D platformer, but the character also feels kind of 2D-ish. It is really hard to explain, but this game is just so beautiful, unique, and fun. So I cannot recommend Ruffy and the Riverside enough to anybody who wants to play a phenomenal 3D platformer. And for all my Steam Deck subscribers out there, yeah, this game runs immaculately on the Steam Deck, and pretty much anything that you play it on. I mean, I've also tried this game on Switch too, and it works absolutely phenomenal there as well. So be sure to check out Ruffy and the Riverside, because this game is just so dang good, and it deserves to be played by anybody who loves 3D platformers. Now, up next, we have a beautiful game from the people that brought you Abzu, the Pathless, and Journey, and that is Sword of the Sea. This is an atmospheric surfing adventure with fast movement inspired by classic snowboarding and skateboarding games. And this game is absolutely beautiful because you surf across magnificent waves of sand and glistening waters on an epic quest to restore a lost ocean. So this game is beautiful, chill, low-key, or as they say, cozy nowadays game. So if you love a cozy game and you want to just have something that you can just chill with and enjoy and just kick back and relax, because there's little to no challenge in this game, I will say that. It's mostly just a calming, soothing type of thing. So if you want to just relax, maybe you're having a rough day, I highly recommend Sword of the Sea because it'll definitely help relax you and give you beautiful visuals as you're doing it. And this game also is another one that runs pretty good on the Steam Deck, pretty good on like anything that it's on really. So if you want to play this on PC, Steam Deck, console, whatever it may be, this game should run pretty good and look gorgeous as you're playing it. So check out Sword of the Sea. So up next on this list is the amazing action roguelike Mega Bonk. This is a game that is really fun, and I highly recommend it in a handheld mode type format because if you have the sleep and resume features, this game will really hook you and will really allow you to enjoy every ounce of what this game is trying to give you. I actually think this is one of the best Steam Deck games of the year because of that. Now, what I will say is this. This game has a really fun and funny art style, so if you want to have a decent laugh and just enjoy some action combat that's very well designed, Mega Bonk will definitely give you that. And on top of that, this game actually does get relatively difficult, so if you also want a good challenge, I think Mega Bonk will give you that as well. So be sure to check out Mega Bonk on any device you have that can run this game because it is a really fun, good time. It's also very cheap, so if you want to be able to get a cheap, fun game for like your Steam Deck or something, I highly recommend Mega Bonk to all of you watching this video. Go check it out. Now, if you want to play a really funny game with your friends, then definitely check out this next one, and that's Peak. Peak is an absolutely fantastic climbing game with an amazing physics engine that gives you some really funny moments that you and your friends can laugh at. This is a game that works on 99% of devices too, so if you only have like a Steam Deck or some type of handheld that you can play this on, then definitely still check it out because it'll work great on there. And on top of that, this is a game that you can play with all of your friends. This is a game that is really fun, and honestly, you can go through and play this with your friends, get some good laughs, and get some really good viral moments for YouTube and stuff if you guys care about that, as well as this was a big time streamer game. So if you guys want to enjoy a really funny, over-the-top, physics-based climbing game that you get to, troll your friends and stuff in, definitely check out Peak, because I think that you will love this game with all your heart. Now, up next, we have an expansion to one of the harder games on this list, and that's the Watcher DLC for Rain World. This is a game that came out, I think it was about a year ago, and my goodness, is the base game one of the hardest indies I have ever played in my life. This game will kick your butt, so be ready for a challenge if you're going to play Rain World and this DLC, because this DLC does not hold back either. This is a very challenging, fun, atmospheric game that if you're into a great art style with a lot of exploration and the ability to learn how to survive, and also knowing that every single enemy is going to absolutely obliterate you if you don't go through the game correctly, then definitely check out the Watcher DLC for Rain World, because this is one of the best action-packed, challenging games that'll have your heart beating every single time you see an enemy, and it'll have you praying that enemies do not show up, because honestly, when they do, it is horrifying in this game, because one bad move and you're done. So check out Rain World on any device that can run this game, because it is very fun. Now, up next, we have the phenomenal sci-fi roguelike that is Abyssus. Now, this game is relatively newer on this list, and it runs great on everything. It's really fun, and let me tell you guys, this is one of the better FPSs I have played in a while. This game is also a co-op game, so if you want to play with up to 4 friends, you can definitely do that here and enjoy every single second of Abyssus with your buddies. And on top of that, this game has some really good roguelike elements because you get to choose your loadouts, blast through the corrupted denizens of a sunken civilization, and wield godly powers in a fast-paced FPS roguelike brine punk adventure. So if that sounds fun to you, be sure to check this game out, because I actually think this is one of the more underrated indies of the year. I don't see a lot of people talking about Abyssus, but this game is absolutely fantastic, and if you love FPS game roguelikes that you can play with your friends, this is one of the best ones you can pick in 2025. Now, up next is the absolutely fantastic beat-em-up roguelike fantasy game with local co-op, and that is Absolem. This is the newest game on this list, came out about a week ago, and let me tell you guys, this game is so freaking good. Everybody please pick up this game. I don't see a lot of people talking about Absolem, and I don't know why. If you're a big-time fan of indie games, beat-em-ups, and you really liked games like Streets of Rage 4 or the TMNT game that came out a few years ago, pick this one up. This is literally Streets of Rage 4 in a fantasy setting. So if you love Streets of Rage and you want to play that but with swords and knives and arrows and elves and stuff like that, then this is the game. It is so freaking fun to play this. I cannot get enough of it. And I know it's only been out a week, so we do have some potential updates and things of that nature that can come out and make this game a lot better. I'm aware of that. But man, get in on this one early. I'm telling you, it's even on sale right now on Steam, man. Like, this thing is on sale. I think it's about 15-20% off right now. So go check out Steam right now and pick this game up, because I cannot talk enough good things about how much fun I've had playing this addicting gameplay loop with this really interesting setting, with the really cool characters, and on top of all of that, just enjoying everything that this amazing indie game brings to me. So please check out this game. I want another game like this very soon, because this one is so much fun. Pick it up when you can.
The Achilles Survivor from Dark Point Games. Now, this is a top-down bullet hell roguelike set in a world of Greek mythology, and it moves really fast. You play as Achilles or other legendary souls trying to escape Tartarus, fighting off endless waves of mythological enemies. Now, the twist is the structure building mechanic. Mid-run, you can place traps, healing shrines, and summon allies to completely change how the battlefield plays out. Runs are short and frantic, with plenty of permanent upgrades to unlock between attempts. It's intense, tactical, and perfect for anyone who loves roguelikes with a bit more depth. Definitely check it out. At number 9, we've got The Altars from 11-Bit Studios. Now, this is the team behind This War of Mine and Frostpunk, and this one is a thoughtful sci-fi survival adventure about a single man stranded on a hostile planet who has to create alternate versions of himself in order to survive. Now, each one is shaped by different life decisions, and the game is kind of part base building, part narrative drama, and it constantly forces you to think about not just your resources, but also the relationships that you build between your altars. The story digs deep into identity, regret, and survival, and the pacing keeps you invested all the way through. Now, it should take around 15 to 20 hours to wrap up. This is a game that won't be for everyone, but if you enjoy the genre, it's definitely worth taking a look at. Alright, number 8 goes to Shape of Dreams, developed by Lizard Smoothie and published by NeoWiz. Now, this is a unique action roguelike that blends fast-paced hack-and-slash gameplay with co-op and MOBA-like team dynamics. You'll choose from 8 different travelers, each with distinct abilities, and tackle lucid dream modifiers that reshape the rules for every run. Whether you're playing solo or teaming up with friends, the game constantly throws new combinations at you, making every session feel just a little bit different. It's got a sharp combat system, loads of build variety, and that one more run kind of vibe that makes roguelikes so addictive. Difficulty will scale with the modifiers that you use. That means it can get intense really fast if you absolutely have to have that challenge. Either way though, definitely check out Shape of Dreams. At number 7 is Blueprints from Raw Fury. Now, this is a brilliant puzzle adventure game set in a mysterious manner that rearranges itself as you explore. Every time that you open a door, you'll choose the room's layout like you're drafting up a blueprint. It's part puzzle, part exploration, with a touch of mystery that slowly unravels the story behind the house and all of the secrets that it holds. Now, the room drafting mechanic is incredibly satisfying once it clicks and you kind of get the hang of it, and the daily reset system encourages experimentation and clever planning. It's a smart, well-paced game with around 15 to 20 hours of content, and of course, there is plenty of replay value. If you haven't played this one yet, definitely add it to your radar. At number 6 is yooka-laylee, which is the definitive remaster of the beloved 3D platformer, packed with all new features and a gorgeous visual overhaul. Join the charming buddy duo as they set out to stop Capital B's scheme to steal the world's books. You'll explore vibrant worlds filled with quirky characters, tricky platforming sections, and of course, a ton of collectibles. Now, this version introduces a proper world map, remixed and entirely new challenges, a fresh currency system, and expanded customization through Vendi's tonics. With smoother controls, refined camera options, and a fully orchestrated soundtrack from legendary composers, this is the absolute best way to experience the game, and definitely worth adding to your library. And at number 5 is Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, developed by The Game Kitchen and published by Dotemu. This is a brutally challenging side-scrolling action platformer that revives the classic Ninja Gaiden spirit with modern polish. Now, in this one, you get to swap between 2 protagonists, chain together insanely fluid combos, and rely on precision platforming in order to survive. The pixel art is gorgeous, the boss fights are relentless, and every death feels like a lesson learned. Now, it's a shorter game at around 6 hours to wrap up, but it is designed for mastery, and any fan of tough, skill-based action will eat this one up. At number 4, we have Hollow Knight Silksong, finally releasing from Team Cherry. This is the highly anticipated sequel to one of the best Metroidvanias that has ever been made. And the best part about it, it more than delivers on the promise of giving us an even better experience. In this one, you play as Hornet, exploring a vast new kingdom with agile combat, sprawling environments, and dozens of legendary bosses. The movement is faster and more fluid, the quest system is deeper, and the world is just packed with secrets to uncover. It's a massive adventure lasting around 25 to 30 hours, and with that trademark atmosphere and challenge that made the original so beloved, this one is sure to eat up a good chunk of your gaming time. Definitely pick this one up. Alright, and taking the third spot is Hades 2 from Supergiant Games. Now, this is another sequel that takes everything that made the original great and then layers in new systems, witchcraft mechanics, familiars, expanded areas, and even richer storytelling. The combat is tight and fast, the art direction is stunning, and every run feels meaningful thanks to how the narrative evolves with your progress. The amount of build variety and experimentation here is just almost overwhelming. It's challenging but always fair and extremely addictive. Obviously, this is a must-play for any fan of the genre or if you enjoyed the first game. Alright, and our runner-up at number 2 is Chronicles: The New Dawn, developed by Bloober Team. This is a third-person survival horror game, and it stands out for its eerie atmosphere and incredibly unique merging mechanic. What this means is if you don't burn enemies after defeating them or take out the extra bodies that are laying around, the enemies may end up fusing into stronger, more terrifying creatures. And if you let this happen too much, they can overrun you. It is really easy to die in this game. Now, it blends retro futuristic environments with time shifting, puzzles, and some genuinely intense encounters. The tone is unsettling throughout with limited resources and smart enemy design that keeps you constantly on edge. If you're a fan of classic survival horror with a modern twist, this is a fantastic game and one of the best first entries into a brand new survival horror series that I've seen in many years. Bloober Team did a great job, and if they want to put out a new survival horror game every year or two, I will be there day one to pick it up. Well done, and bravo to the team over there. Thank you for an amazing game this year. Alright, and finally, taking the number 1 spot, this is probably no surprise, but we have Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. This one was developed by Sandfall Interactive and published by Kepler Interactive. Now, this is a stunning turn-based RPG that blends cinematic real-time reactions into every encounter. You'll parry, dodge, and free aim in beautifully staged battles, all set in a surreal and gorgeous world. The story follows an expedition to stop a mysterious figure who's erasing lives from existence. The game is incredibly emotional and really fresh feeling, and it came out of nowhere. If this one doesn't win Game of the Year, it'll be a shame, but even more than that, if the soundtrack doesn't win some kind of award, it is one of the best soundtracks you will hear in any game in any genre from any year. With around 30 hours of gameplay, a deep combat system, this is a bold, unforgettable RPG that has earned its top spot this year, at least in my opinion.
So guys, let me know your thoughts on the video down below. Recommend games that you would like to see in future videos and or to people that just want to play them on the Steam Deck. Also be sure to subscribe and like the video and share it around to all your friends so we can grow this channel. I'm Logan from The Gamers Place. I hope you enjoyed, and without any further ado, peace out.